Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the Sean O'Connell Show on ESPN 700 and 92.1 FM. Show today and every day is brought to you by friends over at Big Willie's, 1717 South Main. Go get some hot lunch there today. Any day. It's a great day to go over to Big Willie's. Craft food menu, cocktails, cold beers, and, of course, the refurbished pool tables as well. When you go in there, tell them OC sent you, and they will enter your name in a drawing to win 2 club-level Utah Mammoth tickets. You only have 5 more days to put your name in, but get over there, do it. We're at All Trade Staffing today, 182 West Haven Avenue in Salt Lake City, a block west of the RC Willey on 3rd West, okay? Swing on down, come say hi. We have little gift bags put together. This is my guy Larry Locken written all over it, okay? Gift bags put together. You got the ESPN t-shirt. You got the clear bag you can take into Rice Eccles Stadium. You got a little Liquid Death mountain water. You have tailgate passes for Utah-Cincinnati. It's going to be a big one on Saturday because, of course, College Game Day is in town. All of you know this. Only place you can grab this little gift bag is All Trade Staffing. Check out www.alltradestemp.com. Josie's, the general manager down here, is going to step on with us a couple of times, I think. We're going to have a little bit of fun today. And wow, what a night of sports we had last night. Monday Night Football, the Washington Commanders were last year's kind of like NFL darling team. All of us talked about how you got that NFL rookie contract for a quarterback, and now it allows them to add pieces like Deebo Samuel and company. And I'm not going to lie, as a 49ers fan, you're worried about any team rising in the NFC. I was like, man, Commanders are going to be a problem moving forward. But injury bugs bite everyone. The Kansas City Chiefs are inevitable, apparently, even in a year where you think, or years where it thinks like, hey, maybe these guys are finally falling off. Monday Night Football, Chiefs victorious again. And you just heard Scott Mitchell talking about that game a little bit and how he continues to be red hot on his picks, by the way. We need to, verify. We need to go back through as listeners and verify whether or not Scott Mitchell actually is that accurate on his picks, because if so, he should move to Vegas and start working in a casino.
Watch out, Lee Sterling.
Yeah, no kidding.
Shout out to Lee.
Watch out, Lee Sterling. James Peterson is back in our Broadway studios. I'm down here at All Trade Staffing, 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake City with gift bags for for Saturday night's game for anyone who swings by.
You're ready for this game. You ready? Let's play it tonight.
I'm so ready that I want it to happen tonight, but it's not going to happen tonight. We do have tailgate passes, though, so come check it out.
Kyle Whittingham Coaches Show tonight. There's a Utes event.
There's a Utah event tonight. Kyle Whittingham Coaches Show will be right here on ESPN 700 and 92.1 FM. We're going to be at the Utah Red Zone store tomorrow with a bunch of players, hopefully joining us, including Dishing with Dev, live and in person. So we're going to have a lot of fun this week getting you ready for that big game. But, man, Lauri Markkanen needs to select his breakout games, the timing of his breakout games, to where they're not the same night as an 18-inning historic World Series.
If there's one thing about his game he can improve, it's that. Absolutely.
Lauri, we love you. You're the first Utah Jazz man to score 50 points since Karl Malone, but you can't do it on the same night as a double trouble 18-inning Dodgers Blue Jays thriller. You can't, Lauri, what are you doing, man? Why did no one in the Jazz PR department, why did none of the coaching staff pull him aside and just say, hey, Lauri, we want you to have a great season. We want you to have a great night, just not tonight, okay? Lauri Markkanen should be the toast of the town. He should be what everyone's talking about in pro sports right now. And, of course, because he's hanging 50 burgers on people the same night that you have the most insane, bananas, back and forth, wild I mean, only 2 World Series games in history have gone 18 innings. That was actually, let's be honest.
Both at Dodgers Stadium, by the way.
We love a good overtime game. When you double the length of a game, when it's a 9-inning game and it turns out to be 18, that's too much. When we get into now we're pushing 7 hours of baseball, World Series or not, guys, that's a lot. It's just a lot. But you know what? Incredible stuff. Freddie Freeman becomes now the only player in Major League Baseball history. This is correct, I think, James. It's not just National League or American League. It's Major League. Nobody has had more than one walk-off home run in World Series history, and Freddie Freeman gets to stand atop that podium by himself.
So I think it's extra innings walk-off homers.
Extra
but otherwise,
innings walk-offs.
Oh, otherwise correct. Because there was Goose Goslin, might be the name of another guy who had 2 World Series walk-offs, but they were not both in extra innings, like Freddie Freeman's. Have been in back-to-back years, by the way.
I mean, what a legend Freddie Freeman is. Oh, and by the way, even though he's the dude who jacks a walk-off, tie-breaking, game-winner home run in the 18th inning, not the most impressive Dodger. How insane is that? That you have that performance, you do that, you win that game for your team with an epic, put it in the highlight reel home run, and still you're like the second or third most talked about Dodger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Will Klein, the no-name guy who comes in and throws 4 shutout innings.
Will Klein threw 4 shutout innings. Will Klein is a guy who's usually giving you between 15 and 30 pitches. And he decided he was going to come in and he was going to rush through.
He threw 70 pitches or something, 60-something pitches. It just 4 innings.
Incredible.
The last man, literally the last man standing out of the Dodgers bullpen. They were going to have you. I'm not telling you anything new here. You watched it. They were going to have Yamamoto, who pitched 2 days before.
They were doing like the sideline reports, just like, hey, where's Dave Roberts going to go when Will Klein is done? Because he's on his pitch count. He's up. He's like pushing at that point. This is the 16th inning, probably. He's like getting up over 20 pitches thrown. And he's just like, yeah, I'm probably going to have to go to a position player here.
Which, thank goodness that didn't happen. That would have really tainted the World Series.
You got a shortstop throwing an extra inning against that Toronto lineup. Something bad's going to happen. You're going to lose that game, right? And Will Klein understands the assignment, and he's just like, no, man, like, I'm just going to stay. I'm still throwing hard. I'm still throwing hot. I'm still doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And he gets it done in 4 times the workload. And it's one thing that I think we need to remember. Baseball very specifically is this way. But every sport is becoming this way. All right? One thing that we forget all too easily, and Will Klein was a great example of this last night, and Shohei Ohtani has been like the megastar example of this, and Mike Trout has been a megastar example of this. But like what Will Klein showed us is nobody came into last night, nobody comes into any season, much less any World Series game, thinking like, I can actually watch and I can actually ask my hyper-specialized closers, my setup men, my extra base runner only type players, I can actually let them do the whole thing. I can actually let them do more than what I think they are capable of. I understand that there's a reason why specialists are specialists, especially in baseball. But isn't it a thing of beauty when we remember that while, yes, Will Klein has very, very, very specific duties for the Dodgers most of the time, he's a baseball player, all right? At one time, a time he could probably remember very vividly in his mind, by the way, he was not only the best pitcher on his teams coming up through the game in life, he was probably also the best hitter, the best base runner, the best athlete. He was probably the best basketball player at his school. You know what I mean? It's a good thing that every once in a while we get these performances that remind us that, you know what, you can actually just ask a baseball player in a game-winning scenario to play baseball, to do what he has to do for his team. And his willingness, his eagerness, his enthusiasm for doing that in a hyper-specialized game was awesome to see. It's the World Series. His coach is talking, maybe not directly to him, but within earshot, saying, yeah, we might have to go with, backup right fielder, get warmed up. You're going to have to go take to the mound. I don't want Klein's arm to gas out on us. And instead of being like, yeah, well, you got to put him in, coach. I've already thrown my max. I'm at the top of my pitch count. What does he do? He looks around. He sees his teammates. He's got absolute legends all up along that bench with him, all up along that dugout. And he's just like, you know what? I'm going to do what I have to do to help my team win a game.
By the way, was it a little curious to you why they didn't let Kershaw go a little bit longer? I know he's had his postseason horrors and whatever, but it's like that guy's a starting pitcher. He could go more than one out. Worked out for him.
It worked out at the end. That's one of those calls that if you know that it's going to end up being this long slog, the hindsight probably allows you to go back and say, oh, well, obviously we should have done a little bit more with Kershaw. But also, like you said, I mean, this is Kershaw's swan song. This is his retirement year.
You don't want to put him in a position where he could have a bad outing in the World Series.
Can you imagine what a disaster that is for Clayton Kershaw if it plays out that way? I mean, Dave Roberts probably doesn't have a lot of trust in Kershaw, the World Series pitcher.
I mean, especially a diminished version of Kershaw at this point. Yeah.
And so I think there's two sides of that argument. Could he do more? Should he be able to do more? Absolutely. If you're the manager, are you looking at it and saying, like, man, I got this dude for like 4 more games maximum. He's a Dodgers legend. If I could put him out there, I can hang too much on him, and I can really damage his legacy if he gives up a home run in extra innings or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. You probably could have had.
I could see that, and I think that's probably why he's like, just get us out of this inning. But considering the state of where their bullpen was, where he's like an inning later, he's like, I'm going to have to throw a position player out here. It's like, maybe you should have let your legend go get a couple more outs for you then. But, hey, it worked out, and Yamamoto volunteered to be the next guy up, remarkably, if they had gone to a 19th inning or longer, so it probably would have worked out even further for them. But that was one where I'm like, I might have let Kershaw go for a couple more outs. But I also understand the protecting the legacy part of it.
The quote thing, this is, okay, Will Klein is asked after, going a lot longer for 4 scoreless innings when he's supposed to pitch 1. And he said, I was just going to go until I couldn't. That is the exact right mentality to have when you're part of a team. And it feels like it should be so simple for a professional athlete who's making millions of dollars in a championship scenario to have that mentality. And the hope is that everyone does when you're in a World Series situation. But in pro athletics, we know that this is not like the regular season mentality. We know this is not the NBA mentality right now. Will Klein said, I'm just going to go until I can't go anymore. I'm going to throw my arm out in the effort of winning my team this game. We may never pass this way again. Now, the Dodgers, you probably don't feel that way. The Dodgers, you probably feel like, well, we're going to be part of the World Series conversation for the foreseeable future.
But you still can't. You still can't make decisions off that.
And you certainly on at 11:30 p.m. Pacific time on a Monday night, you certainly can't be like, oh, well, you know what? I need to make sure that next year when we're in this spot, I haven't damaged my arm or something like that. Will Klein just said to himself and everyone else in not so many words, I'm a baseball player. Let's do this.
I did love the jokes on Twitter about when the Bat Boy came out to take care of his cleats, get the dirt off his cleats, help him with the grip. They're like, hey, man, they're sending the Bat Boy out to pitch. Like
They've
those
almost
were
had
amazing.
to. They almost had to do that. And okay, so Will Klein leaves that game, legendary performance. Freddie Freeman jacks the game winner, extra innings, World Series home run, and still Shohei Ohtani on a night like that, when you had two guys in particular really, really step up and show what championship baseball is supposed to be, Shohei Ohtani shines brighter than all of them. 9 for 9 on base last night. 2 home runs in the game. Guess who's slated to be the starting pitcher tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for the Los Angeles Dodgers? Guess who's supposed to take to the mound and control this Toronto Blue Jays lineup tonight? I mean, we are in baseball. Baseball is swinging the opposite way of basketball right now, and I love seeing it. I'm not here to trash on the NBA, but megastar players in baseball right now, Shohei Ohtani being the shining example among all of them, he is like doing exactly what his team needs him to do. He's shouldering whatever workload his team needs him to have right now. While in the NBA, we're going to be gearing up for the next 3-4 months of people being like, ugh, rest, load management.
My hamstring's a little sore today.
Lower back tightness. I'm having some spasms and I'm having some soreness. And look, baseball is not exactly the bastion of physically tough athletes, in my opinion. But the acknowledgement that these guys are showing us that when it comes down to a championship opportunity, a World Series opportunity, an extra innings game, where there were a lot of people on social media, and I have to echo the sentiment. There were a lot of people on social media last night who were saying, it feels like whoever wins this game wins the series. Because it was just one of those inflection points, this marathon grinder, double-length game. It felt like that was a very, very serious point in this series. And credit to the Blue Jays, their pitching rotation and bullpen management, I think has been – I don't know if it's fair to Dave Roberts to say theirs has been better, but they had more options. They had a better situation going on. They were battling it at all of their at-bats as well. They played some pretty awesome defense. The pitching was just good enough. How many warning track shots were there in the extra innings that you thought it was going to be decided?
That Will Smith warning shot hit that Joe Davis and John Smoltz on the TV call on Fox, and Boog Shambi on the radio call, which you heard over on the other station on the network here. They all of them were like, if it hadn't been so late at night and it dropped to the 60s from like whatever it was, 80s, 90 degrees today, by the way, in LA, which is nuts. But if you hadn't had that temperature drop, that's a no doubter home run. Ends up down at the warning track. Speaking of Kershaw, he hops over the fence, ready to celebrate, and then it lands in Varsho's glove a couple feet short, and you're like, holy crap, how did that not go out? That one was
thing about
incredible.
Baseball more than any other sport is so fantastic at giving you these like tiny little minute details on statistical analysis, right? And Joe Davis did a great job on the broadcast of talking about the exit velocity and exit angle of these warning track shots. Baseball tracks everything. And I'm probably misquoting the exact numbers here, but that Will Smith shot was like off the bat at 100 and something miles an hour at whatever angle of ascent. And that exact thing happened 32 times in Major League Baseball this year. 31 of them went over the fence. So everyone thought it was like, that's the one that died on the warning track. Every other hit that has been like that, at that exit velocity, at that exit angle, that was supposed to go over the fence, and instead we got 18 innings last night.
By the way, I just want everyone to know I sacrifice for all of our listeners, even though got a baby that I have to be up to help get ready for daycare every day now. I stayed up. I didn't watch the first part of the game because doing daddy duty and whatever during the night. But I watched all of the extra innings, stayed up for you guys to make sure that the broadcast was not interrupted. So
let me tell you,
over on 103.9 and 98.3 ESPN The Fan.
Let me tell you the mess I found myself in, James. Okay, watch the first part of the game with like half an eye on the TV, right? Do the whole bedtime routine, make sure that, the kids are fed, bathed, put in bed, whatever. Take the dog for a walk. I'm like, man, if I don't get a workout in at night now, I'm not getting workouts in. So I've been disciplined. I do a workout, okay? I turn on my television.
OC is built different, folks.
I'm expecting I'm going to see the highlights of the game. I've accepted. I'll watch the highlights. I'll pretend on the air like I watched the whole game. I'll fake it till I make it. All right? Alonso will be texting me the details and saying, you got this one wrong, because that's the type of guy he is. And instead, I tuned in thinking I'm going to get the recap of the game, and there are 7 more innings to play.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on here?
I was in a similar position, OC.
I'm on my couch. I had to sit up on the couch because I was laying on the couch.
falling asleep.
I'm falling asleep.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep. Freeman's good. And I have to sit up. I have to get myself vertical because I'm an old man now. And if you stay sedentary for more than like 8 minutes in a prone position when you're in your 40s, you're out, okay? You're falling asleep. You can't lay on the couch and watch a movie. You can't lay on the couch and watch a game. Public service announcement for all you young kids out there, all right? You got to go up, down. You got to stay vertical. You got to stand. You got to go make sure the dog has water. You got to give yourself a task so your brain doesn't fall asleep on you. That's why we're the professionals in this sports media world, James, because we're willing to make
absolutely
that incredible, grueling sacrifice to watch baseball for 2 times as long as we're supposed to.
So 1 a.m.
How about if you're in Toronto for this game?
3
Everyone in
a.m.
Toronto had to stay up till 3 a.m. Hopefully today's like a day of mourning and grieving and an off day for work for all the Blue Jays fans.
By the way, not impressive for anyone on the West Coast. You stayed up till midnight. Congratulations. Yeah. Also, you had to endure 60-something degrees in when the temperature dropped. Like that's
I'll tell you what,
in October. That's not impressive.
Here's who I do feel for. Okay, because when you have young children, and James, you're in this world now, and you're going to be further in this young world, like the next 10 years of your life.
Had a rude awakening last night with this, yeah.
Who I feel for badly is if you had tickets to that Dodgers game, that you have a World Series pair of tickets, okay? You and your wife are just like, finally, we're going to have a night out on the town. You love the Dodgers. I love the Dodgers. Maybe I love the Blue Jays. You love the Dodgers. We're going to go. We're going to watch our 2 teams play. We're going to have some fun, all right? And you have a babysitter, all right? You're paying that babysitter now. Back in my day, it was like $4 an hour. You're now paying these people $25 an hour to watch your kids. Your kids are asleep, by the way. You're still paying them top dollar to watch your children, okay? You're sitting at that game, and you see this thing, okay, all right. 5-5, okay. Well, you know what, Dodgers, we're gonna get a run in the 9th, and it'll be a walk-off. It's gonna be great. We'll get home in time to send the sitter back, and it's gonna be great, okay? Now you go into extra innings, and you're like, oh crap. So you send that text. You call the babysitter. Hey, is it okay? This is an extra innings. Is it okay you stay an extra 30 minutes or so? Oh yeah, Mr. Peterson, no problem. Everything's fine. Kids are already asleep. I'm just doing some homework.
I called the pizza dude. We're good.
Everything's cool. All right. Hey, thank you so much, Courtney, for staying an extra 30 minutes for us. We owe you big. I'll pay you an extra $5, whatever. Okay? Now, you have to have that conversation 8 more times with your babysitter. Hey, we're in another inning. Hey, I know. I know you have a test tomorrow. But this is a World Series extra innings game. You can't expect me to get up out of my seat and walk to the car right now. I will be booed out of the stadium. They won't sell me tickets again. You know? Like, how do you manage that situation?
Oh, my gosh. Especially,
by the way,
if you're a fan of the home team and ends in a walk-off homer. Yeah.
Even if you have the best babysitter in the world and they're just like, whatever, it's extra innings World Series, stay. I can stay till midnight, no problem. All right? Freddie Freeman does you the favor, walks this bad boy off in inning 18, After nearly 7 hours of you being in your seat, paying way too much for the concessions, now you got to pay your babysitter triple what you thought you were going to have to pay, all right? You've already gone 12 beers deep. So, and guess what you have to do now, James? Now you have to sit in the traffic exiting Chavez Ravine for another 3 hours. The babysitter has to stay until dawn. Now
She's
now you've got a
sleeping
whole day
over.
rate.
She's sleeping over.
And that person's never babysitting for you again. So that was the sacrifice, okay? Those people who went through that, they are the heroes, just like Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani and Will Klein.
The Dodgers should do a promotion where tonight's game they should pay for everybody's babysitting. Like send us a Venmo, send us your Venmo because we put you in way too rough a position last night. Send us your Venmo tonight. We got you. Your Cash App, whatever.
Yeah, Shohei, he probably made a bunch of money betting on that game. He could pay for all the babysitters. All right.
Oh, what a game! I will say this: after about the 13th inning, it wasn't the last. The last Blue Jays scoring threat, Dodgers scoring threat. There was another one. The 16th or 17th inning where the Blue Jays had. Klein almost walked the bases loaded. I think it might have been the 17th inning. Or was it top of the 18th? Anyway, after like the 12th or 13th inning, between that time and that Blue Jays scoring chance right before the Freddie Freeman homer, I was like, this game's getting boring. We're getting no action. Can we just end it already? And listen, I'm biased. I'm like, I need this to end so I can go to sleep. Absolutely. But also I'm like, I wouldn't have minded staying up a little later if there was just a little bit more offense going on here. And it didn't have to be scoring, just like give me some drama on the bases a little bit. That was what was one of the brutal parts of that game is like, yes, classic game because of how long it was, ends in a walk-off homer, all that. What it was in regulation before the extras, absolutely classic, but like 5-6 of those extra innings, like you can have that. I didn't need to watch that.
It was an epic night, and the Dodgers end up coming out on top. Epic performances, the walk-off home run for Freddie Freeman, the extended pitching marathon in relief for Klein, and of course, Shohei Ohtani, 9 for 9 on base. 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 5 walks.
Yeah.
That's a career.
Was that 5 intentional walks too? I don't think he drew a walk. I think they were all at least 4 of those were intentional.
I think was his last at bat an intentional walk? I don't know that it was.
I can't remember now.
It seemed like it was like a pseudo-intentional walk, like he was really trying to get Shohei to chase things down in the dirt.
Well,
it was 4 straight balls, but he didn't. It wasn't the classic. Stand up and play catch outside of the battery.
That's not a thing anymore. So they if you notice, they just say we're walking him. They don't actually have to do the throws if it's an intentional walk. So if they threw to him, then it wasn't technically an intentional walk.
Yeah, it was like I said, I think it was like a pseudo-intentional walk because he was just pitching him to him in the dirt.
We did have a text about the other cool thing that happened. Like you said, Lowry's 50-point game. They're asking, didn't Donovan score 60 and over 50 a couple times? Not with the Jazz in regular season play. He scored 50 in the playoffs with the Jazz. The only times he scored more than that was with the Cavs. And Malone scored 50 in a playoff game after his 56-point game in '98. That was the last one before Donovan's in the playoffs. Anyway, this Lowry game is the first 50-point game in regular season since April of '98 when Malone scored 56. Just to clarify.
All right. Donovan Mitchell's career high, by the way, 71 points.
Yeah, that was with the Cavs. So if our texter didn't realize that the Jazz were awful at that point, then now you know.
No, I was in the building for Donovan Mitchell's 46-point game with the Utah Jazz. I think he scored 46 that night.
There was a couple of them he did that. Yeah, he had a couple close to 50 points.
So it's not like Donovan didn't give us a bunch of great games.
Absolutely.
Just Lowry Markkanen, the finisher with 51-pointer. All right. I already told you we're here at All Trade Staffing, 182 West Haven Avenue, South Salt Lake. We've got Utah football gift bags to give away, the clear bag that you can actually take into Rice Eccles Stadium. We've got an ESPN 700 t-shirt. We've got tailgate passes for Utah versus Cincinnati. It's going to be a big day up on campus. Josie White is the general manager down here at All Trades. Josie, thanks for having us down here. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, so give me like the cliff notes on what you do here at All Trade Staffing.
Okay, so we're a staffing agency. We cover construction, manufacturing, help people with projects. You call, you need cleanup jobs on your jobs, you call us, we provide the people, and job moves forward.
So if I'm a business owner, if I'm someone who's got a big project going on right now, heck, if I'm setting up a wedding party or something like that, and I'm like, man, I need this done. I need it done today. I need it done tomorrow. I can call you at All Trades, and you're going to give me the manpower, the woman power I need to get that out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually had about a month ago, we had a lady that was doing a wedding for her son.
Okay.
And oops, I don't have a server night of the wedding. She called us, and we sent somebody over to go serve while her son was getting married at the wedding.
That's awesome. Did the Dodgers call you last night, be like, hey, we need a pitcher. We got nothing left in the bullpen?
I missed that call, sorry.
It was probably a little bit too late at night. So what's the best way if I'm listening right now? I'm driving to the job site. I got my truck. I'm a contractor. I'm like, man, this framer keeps calling out on me. These guys aren't cleaning up the job site like they're supposed to. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can call us or text 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 801-313-1234. Or you can come into the office at 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake.
801-313-1234. They're online at alltradestemp.com. If you're out there listening, whether you're a business owner or you're just somebody who's got a big project, you need the help, come to All Trades to get that help. 801-313-1234. Dave Roberts, Dodgers manager, I know you're listening right now. Josie's waiting for your call. If you need somebody to fill out the bullpen tonight, she'll find you a good left-hander. Right, Josie?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for having us down here. We'll be checking in throughout the show with Josie. Make sure you come on down, grab the gift bags. The address is 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake City, about a block west of R.C. Willey over here on 3rd West. Not too far off of 21st South. We're right in the heart of South Salt Lake. So come on, swing by. We're having a couple visitors. We got the water. We got the candy machine. We'll figure out another reason to bring you down here. But the tailgate passes should be enough. Saturday, it's a night game. Utah Utes, Cincinnati Bearcats. By the way, I've seen the helmets, the hand-painteds that they're busting out for this weekend. I think people are going to like them. There will be, inevitably, there'll be some people who are haters because that's the way the hand-painteds go every single time. But I've seen them, and they are glorious. All Trades Staffing, 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake. Gordy Chiesa joins us next to talk about what else? A 50 burger by Lowry Markkinen. Sean O'Connell Show on ESPN 700 and 92.1 FM. Sean O'Connell Show coming at you on a Tuesday. We're at All Trade Staffing down here, West Haven Avenue, 182 West Haven Avenue, South Salt Lake. We are we're a block east of RC Willey. I Ron Burgundy that. The copy says west, and so I just said west, even though intuitively I knew it was east. I can't believe I did that. I'm Ron Burgundy. We welcome in Gordy Chiesa to talk about all things hoop, our resident NBA guru. Gordy, welcome back to the show. How are you, sir?
Sean, I'm doing fine, but a little bit tired from last night's, besides Jazz thrilling victory overtime. When I went home, I suddenly started watching the Dodger game, and that was an incredible effort. And I watched till about the 13th inning. Then I went to sleep and rewatched it again this morning.
Gordy, the silver lining of a 7-hour baseball game is even if you thought you were going to miss it because you were watching basketball, you go home, you get to watch a whole dang 9 innings because it's all that extra time. So,
Yeah, and add to that, and just like the NFL, Sean, there's so much strategy involved. So just think about the World Series, that the Dodgers are almost ready to put a position player in the pitch if they had to keep doing it. And that just shows you that the ability to be ready in any sport. You might not be playing, for X amount of games, and suddenly you're in the game in a World Series, and you've got to perform. And when you do, it's legendary. And that's Freddie Freeman, obviously, who's a great clutch hitter.
We were just talking about that. So, like, if you're a relief pitcher, if you're a closer, and most of the time you're asked to do an inning, maybe they'll push you to 2 innings. And then suddenly one night you got to give your team 70 pitches in the World Series. Like, we get all crazy about that in pro sports. It's like, oh, no, the specialists have to be specialists. And I think sometimes we forget these people are players. They're great athletes. And a lot of them are so committed they'll do what it takes, especially in a championship scenario. I don't know if there is a good basketball equivalent to this, but, I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility that because of injuries and minutes restrictions and things like that, every now and again we'll see, a 2-guard having to play the 5 just to help his team. We'll have to, a big man's going to have to spend some time out on the perimeter. It's not a direct analogy, but, man, we get away from it too often in pro sports, I think, where players just do whatever their team needs them to do, and we go crazy over it as fans, but it's like, yeah, you were doing that your whole little league, middle school, high school. You were doing everything for your team. You can do it again as a pro.
Yes, add to that. Also, you win the respect of your teammates. Is that when you're on the court or in the football field or in the baseball diamond, you're playing to win. And whatever it takes within the game reason as far as legitimacy, that's what you're willing to do, especially in the postseason. There's nothing regular about the postseason. Whether it's any sport, it's the most amazing thing, and everything is magnified, your performance. And your point is absolutely right on about players. They're out there. They're willing to sacrifice everything to get through the game. And that was the Dodgers. Now, from just a standpoint of the mental part of it, I'm looking forward to the Blue Jays now, who lost a heartbreaking game, if they can bounce back tonight. So we'll see again. You lose a tough game, and now you're playing less than 24 hours later. You've got to perform again, and now we'll see really both teams what they're about. Can the Dodgers focus and momentum-wise, and can the Blue Jays rally the troops and play forward and get a win to tie it up? It's fascinating. Every sport is the same yet different.
Gordy, let's focus on this Utah Jazz night. I jokingly said, look, if you're gonna have a 50-point game, Lauri Markkanen, you can't do it on the same night as an 18-inning World Series game, because then the story's going to be overshadowed. But what a night for Lauri Markkanen. 51 points in an overtime victory for the Jazz, 138-134 over the Phoenix Suns. Against the backdrop of seems like now 2-year-long conversation of, hey, is Lauri Markkanen going to be part of this team? The rebuild is happening, and he's now become the elder statesman on this rebuild. And are they going to trade him? Or are they not going to trade him? He's out there working. 51 points in 45 minutes for Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, also the first thing is delusionary. Why would you want to trade somebody who's in their prime, 28 years young, who's got an unbelievable skill set that never gets in trouble in the community and wants to be here. And most of all, there's cost certainty. Here's his contract. This is what the number's going to be. And so there's no like, will he sign with us? Will he not sign with us? He's already signed. He's in his prime. He's part of the future. And he's a tremendous. Last night was I was at the Delta Center. That was one for the ages. His performance. It was like Picasso, a masterpiece. How he played, and it's how he refused to lose, and more importantly, how the Jazz teammates, unlike last year, they recognized his brilliance during the game, and they really gave him so many great passes on time, on target. And add to that, so besides skills and tough shot making, he showed his heart and courage by how he rebounded the ball. So the Jazz really, besides Larry Marketing, it was a total team effort. It was a whole bunch of passing, shooting, rebounding, and defending. Showing last night's game that the Jazz outpunked the Suns on the board 64-48 to win in overtime, including 28 offensive rebounds. So without those rebounds, they would have lost that game. And the roughest of the rough, Yusuf Nurkic, is played such an important part of the Jazz right now momentum success to start the season. That guy got 13 rebounds in 18 minutes. And so the Jazz are playing as a unit, and Larry Marketing the 51 points. Add to that, Sean, the last time it happened in Jazz basketball was Carl got 56 points, meaning Karl Malone, on April 7th, 1998. And I'm next to Carl during the game, and that was the game when there was a heckler, Sean, on the baseline right in front of our bench. He was a bodybuilder, and he kept on heckling Carl the whole game. And the referee was Bobby Delaney. And Bob Delaney was part of his. The referee was a former New Jersey State trooper that went underground for the mafia. And so Bob Delaney, with his former past, he was a New Jersey State trooper that went undercover to stop a mafia extortion ring in New Jersey, became an NBA official. So Bob Delaney kept on saying to the muscle builder in the baseline, "You better stop what you're saying because I have the right to kick you out." So they kicked the guy out of the game in the third quarter. Carl was magnificent. He gets 56 points on the road against the Golden State Warriors. And I bet you're wondering who was guarding Carl that game. It was Eric Dampier, Jason Caffey, and former Jazz man Felton Spencer all tried to attempt to guard Carl. 56 points that night. He was actually sensational.
Easier said than done, guarding Karl Malone. Conversation with Gordy Cheese brought to you by friends at Aladdin Industries, your Velux dealer here in Utah. Gordy, who else in the NBA night or the NBA week since the last time we spoke has impressed you the most?
The 76ers, the city of brotherly love. Remember, this in Philadelphia. Remember, they used to disrespect Santa Claus all the time, during football games, throwing snowballs at him all the time. So that's the mentality. So Philadelphia's a hard crowd to please. However, Tyrese Maxey has done an unbelievable job for them, and so is VJ Edgecombe. So both those guys have given new life to the organization. Let's not forget the 76ers last year were 24 and 58. So the backcourt of Maxey and Edgecombe's only 20 years old. He was the third pick of the draft last year behind Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper. So those guys have set a record so far of the most ever any starting backcourt in the first 3 games of a regular season in 55 years. Those guys have scored 182 points in the first 3 games as a backcourt. And that just shows you how amazing it is. So Edgecombe, the rookie, is averaging 25 points a game, 50% from the field goal, and 40% from threes. And so that's a fun story in the NBA, the 76ers. Right now, they're undefeated. And the second fun story, you got to always mention this guy because he's beyond as far as talking about him. Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs are 4-0, led by their vastly underrated coach, Mitch Johnson. And so the Spurs are first in the NBA in least points allowed. So they play defense. They're serious about it, only allowing 104.5 points per game. Let's find out Victor Wembanyama, dazzling. He's averaging 31 points a game, 13.8 rebounds, 4.8 blocks, from field goal percentage, 60%, and from the foul line, 80%. And so he has played absolutely great. And then Dylan Harper, the second pick of the draft, all right, he's excelling right now. And Sean, you can relate to this one. He's a southpaw, so he's living in a right-handed world. Dylan Harper, just like you did when you fought, is that he's averaging 26 minutes a game, 14.8 points per game, and 4.8 assists. So their young fellows have come through for them, besides Stephen Castle, and that's why they're 4-0. So the Spurs and the 76ers and also the Jazz being 2-1, there have been so many great stories, upbeat, and this is why you love sports.
Gordy, what's the list today?
All right, the list today is running about Larry Markkinen. There's the NBA leaders in most career 50-plus point games by an individual. So career games of 50 points only in the regular season. I cut it off only at 11 names to make it even more magnified. All right, 10th place of most ever 50-point games is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He did it 10 times. 9th, Allen Iverson did it 11 times. Tied for 8th. He plays for the Lakers. He's hurt right now. LeBron James and Rick Barry did it 14 times. 6th place all time. He's the pride of Weber State. He's out for the season with a ripped Achilles for the Portland Trailblazers. And Steph Curry, the world's greatest shooter, they're tied for 6th all time. They did it 15 times, 50-point games or more. 5th all time, Elgin Baylor did it 17 times. 4th, the only lefty on this list, James Harden of the LA Clippers, he's done it 24 times. 3rd all time, 50-point games, Kobe Bryant did it 25 times. 2nd all time, we've seen this guy do against the Jazz unbelievable things back in the 90s and in the 80s and 90s. Michael Jordan, he scored 50 points or more in an NBA game 31 times. The number one player in the history of basketball, Sean, you're sitting down right now. Make sure you're sitting down. I know you're on offside right now. Is Wilt Chamberlain. He scored 50 points or more 118 times in an NBA game, which is 87 more than a second place holder of Michael Jordan.
That's insane.
118 50-point games. So last night, Larry Markkinen, who we're loving, did it 1 time. What about in Jazz basketball? The franchise leader is Adrian Dantley. He scored 50 more points 6 times, and Karl Malone did it 4 times. I know people are saying, what about Donovan Mitchell? He never had 50 points in a regular season game, yet he did have a masterpiece when he scored 57 points in the postseason versus Denver Nuggets in the league-mandated bubble in 2020 in the postseason. So Wilt did it 118 times, 50 points or more.
That is absolutely bananas. I'm terrified of AI, Gordy, but if AI can show me like a realistic model of what it would look like having Wilt play in today's NBA, that would be the thing I would want to see. Because he would still be able to dominate.
So, Sean, for the listeners, is that Wilt Chamberlain was a specimen without even, like, weight training. Like, I know he did, but it wasn't like it is now. He was a 7'1", 275 pounds of chisel. He had a 34 waist. So his whole body was upward, was expanding out with his chest and his shoulders. He was almost impossible to guard. Really, almost impossible.
Gordy, you're the man. I always appreciate your time and your insight. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Sean. Peace out. Stay well.
Gordy Chiez is brought to you by Aladdin Industries, your Velux dealer here in Utah. Hot Lunch is next, and I have some longest games in NHL history, NFL history, NBA history for you to go along with last night's extra innings marathon in the World Series. It's the Sean O'Connell Show on ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Sean O'Connell Show on ESPN 700. It's time for the hot lunch. James is back in studio, and so he stole my hot lunch. What is the hot lunch today, James?
It is, of course, from BGR, Burgers Grilled Right in Sugar House. Haven't had a bad burger from them yet. This is, the third week they've done it.
Yes.
So, yeah, just incredible burgers there. Today, it's the teriyaki tuna burger. So that's sushi-grade ahi tuna, grilled pineapple, teriyaki glaze, pickled ginger, and mojo sauce. Really good. I will admit, this sounds like it's more up your alley, OC, than mine, but I still really enjoyed it.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're kind of enjoying it. I have severe FOMO, but we're good because I have a giant tray of candy here in front of me provided by All Trades Staffing. We're at 182 West Haven Avenue.
Who needs a burger?
Lake City. We're a block or so east of the RC Willie on 3rd West. The phone number is 801-313-1234. Josie is the general manager sitting down with me again. Josie, the last time we talked about from the I need some help side, right? You're a business, you got a big project coming up. What if I want work? What if I'm someone who's between jobs right now and I'm like, hey, I can't stand sitting on the couch. I need to pay my bills. Can I come down to All Trades? Can I get a hold of All Trades and you'll put me to work?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on down, fill out an application, and then we'll match you up with your skills. Sometimes people are just tired of doing what they're doing. You know, people get older, don't want to do construction or hard labor anymore. So, they quit their good job and then they come down and want to try something different. So come down and try something different.
What if it's somebody like me and I don't have any skills? You'll just place me around until I find something I'm good at?
Yeah.
All
You'll
right.
find your nick. You'll find your nick of what you want to do. And
right.
yeah.
All I'm good at is talking and pretending like I know what I'm talking about with sports.
Oh, we got several of them. Yeah, we got them. Come on down.
Perfect. AllTradesTemp.com, 801-313-1234. And you brought out the tray of candy. It's getting close to Halloween. You're getting ready for trick-or-treaters, but you got the full spread here.
Yeah, if they come in and do a trick, I'll give them a candy.
All right, perfect. 182 West Haven Avenue, South Salt Lake City, a block east of RC Willie. Josie, thanks for having us out here. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thanks.
All right, let's talk about the longest games. Last night you had one of the longest games in Major League Baseball history and in World Series history. James Peterson for one Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. And you know what? You can't have the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. You already stole my hot lunch from BGR. For James Peterson bonus points, you can give yourself some bonus points. The longest college football game in history was how many overtimes?
Wasn't it 9 Penn State, Illinois?
Correct.
A couple years ago? Yeah.
2021, Illinois beats Penn State 2018 in 9 overtimes.
That's right. I would have gotten that wrong too. I thought I remembered Penn State winning. Bonus, do you know, because that was after the new overtime rules, after the second overtime you're just dueling 2-point conversions.
Yes.
Do you know the longest in the old college football rules where you go from the 25 until someone's winning after like the bottom of the inning, if you will?
Was it 6 overtimes?
It was 7, two different times.
Was Ole Miss involved in one of those?
There was at least maybe there was more than 2. I don't remember Ole Miss being one, but I could be wrong on that. I'm just going off the top of my head here. Texas A&M LSU was 1.
A&M LSU.
And then it was
7 overtimes.
I believe Kentucky. I can't remember. Maybe it was Kentucky Ole Miss with the. It was with who was the quarterback who just unfortunately just passed, the quarterback that looked like a defensive lineman for Kentucky.
Jared Lorenzen.
Yes. Yeah. I believe he was the quarterback for Kentucky at that time. That could have been against Ole Miss, the one you're thinking of. I just remember Kentucky being part of it. But, yeah, those are the 2 that I know of off the top of my head. Those went 7. And
That's
long
7 overtimes is insane.
Longer than the Penn State-Illinois game by time, probably, because they started from the 25 every time. They didn't just go from the 2.
They were doing the old school style.
Yeah. So, anyway,
sure.
Honorable mention to those games.
Okay. Jerem Jordan's going to join us next. I don't know if he's listening right now, but I'm going to try to stump him with a couple of these questions.
I have
the longest the longest game in NHL history is also the longest game in Stanley Cup playoff history because it happened in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Okay.
You have to go all the way back to 1936, okay? The Detroit Red Wings and the Montreal Maroons. I was today years old when I learned that I need a Montreal Maroons jersey or
Absolutely. Pre-Canadiens. Wow.
The game was 166 minutes and 30 seconds long.
Oh, my gosh.
James, how long is a normal NHL game? It is 3 20-minute periods. It is 60 minutes of hockey. We know how insane and grueling and crazy it is. This one went almost 3 times as long as a regulation game.
Unbelievable.
And you know what's the most brutal part about it? What do you think the final score was?
Like 1-0?
Of a 6 overtime, 166-minute game, 1-0.
Oh, my gosh.
Scoreless tie through regulation, overtime 1, overtime 2, overtime 3, overtime 4, overtime 5. Finally, you get the first and game-deciding goal in the 6th overtime. And, of course, it was scored by old Mud, a guy named Mud Brutino.
Of course.
Mud Brunito. Mud Brunito, yes.
Of course, with the French-Canadian influence with the name there, too. Absolutely.
But he's playing for Detroit. Anyway.
Yeah, lots of Canadians played for the American teams over the years. I do have another like stat that Gordy mentioned. Wilt Chamberlain's otherworldly amount of 50-point games over his career, 118. Next closest was Jordan, 31, part of Gordy's list. How many? Because Wilt averaged 50 in a season, right? In 1962. How many 50-point games in that season that he averaged 50?
How many 50-point games did he have in that season? How many games were they playing in a season?
It was 82 back then.
Okay.
It was, or it could have been 80. Anyway, 80 to 82. It kind of fluctuated year to year back then.
41.
Close. 45.
45
So
games. More than half of the games played in the season, he was scoring 50 points.
Yeah. And
I couldn't do that in junior jazz basketball.
And 14 more than Michael Jordan's career total, who is second for career 50-point games. He did that in the season. Also, 71. He had 73 more the rest of his career. Oh, he played 14 years, OC. So over 14 years, he scored 108. He had 118 50-point games. In one season, he had 45 of those.
That's insane. The longest NBA game in history.
Ooh, that was 7 overtimes, right?
The longest NBA game was 6 overtimes.
6, okay.
The Indianapolis Olympians and the Rochester Royals.
Right, wasn't this like an 80 to 78 final score too? Just like for a 6 overtime game, they barely scored.
Well, yeah, because the shot clock didn't exist back then.
Just
75-73.
That's right. Yeah.
So you play a 4-hour game, and you only end up with 75 points because back in the day, the shot clock.
They just held the ball.
This is pre-shot clock. The longest in the shot clock era was the Seattle Supersonics and the Milwaukee Bucks, 5 overtimes back in 1989.
Wow. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the longest I've remember seeing, and I think it was probably 3 triple overtime. Dale
Ellis played 69 minutes in that game.
Holy cow.
Alvin Robertson played 59 minutes. Xavier McDaniel played 68 minutes in that game. Dale Ellis had 53 points in those 69 minutes that he's playing. Kawhi Leonard would just straight up die if you told him he had to. If you called Kawhi Leonard and said, "Hey, you got a 5 overtime game coming, and you're gonna have to play 69 minutes in one night," he would just be like, nope. I'm
actually done for the year after that game.
I'm sorry, I am deceased. That can't happen.
I just retired after that game. Unbelievable.
The longest Utah Jazz game in history, 2012. It's the 7th longest game in NBA history. Jazz Hawks, 4 overtimes, 3 hours and 16 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Joe Johnson had 37 points and 8 rebounds. Al Jefferson had 28 points.
Jazz legend.
Gordon Hayward and Paul Millsap had some big games as well. So,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that's one I don't remember because I believe that was the old mission time for me. So,
2012.
Yeah, so I think the longest I've actually seen is triple overtime games in NBA, and those are not even that common, obviously. So that's nuts.
2012, when the Jazz were wearing the ugliest uniforms in the history of pro sports, with the mustard yellow, the dark green, and the navy blue. Ugh,
yeah,
hideous. All right, we got to take a break here at All Trades Staffing, 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake City. Come by, grab some candy. If you need work, come in. They'll set you up with some work. If you're looking for help on a project, on some construction, you need some quick staffing, All Trades will hook you up. 801-313-1234. Red and Blue is next on the Sean O'Connell Show. Jerem Jordan will join us. It's ESPN 700, 92 on FM. Welcome back to the Sean O'Connell Show, coming at you from All Trades Staffing today at 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake City. We still have a few more tailgate passes for Utah versus Cincinnati. Game day is going to be in town. We only have a couple more, though, so don't wait because they'll be out if you wait too long. Time to check in on the team down south who remains undefeated. BYU come from behind victory on another strong performance by Bear Bachmeier, got his receivers involved, and the BYU Cougars are now a top 10 team in the country. Jerem Jordan, BYU Insider, BYU Sports Nation, friend of the program, joins us for Red and Blue. Jerem, how are you, sir?
Sean O'Connell, what is up, my brother? There's never been a week like this one in the history of BYU sports. The Cougars are ranked in the top 10 in football and men's basketball at the same time. That has never happened. Let's go.
Which of those teams is better relative to their competition in the sport, do you think? We obviously have a lot more knowledge about what football is, and of course the hype is even higher on basketball, so I'm putting you on the spot and saying, which of those two teams is better in their sport?
I would say men's hoops because they have the number one player potentially in the NBA draft. We're not saying that about the BYU football team with the number one pick, right? And I think BYU football is maximizing their talent, their potential, their coaching, their preparation, all that stuff. They're doing a great job. But I would say basketball. And they had a test in UNC Friday in the Delta Center, and that was awesome. By the way, I'm on the Delta Center train as opposed to Delta Center. There's kind of this movement in the Delta Center direction. I am not on board. But anyway, men's basketball is my answer to this question. Yeah.
We're on the same page there. It's the Delta Center.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. Look, 41-27 after surviving a hot start against Iowa State. This BYU team continues to find ways to win. They force opponent mistakes. They don't make mistakes themselves. Bear Bachmeier, over 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was the leading rusher on this team as well. I told you a couple weeks ago, I'm done being like, true freshman, Bear Bachmeier, liability. He's not. He's a great player. He is an excellent football player. I don't care how old he is. Kid knows what he's doing.
I'd like to thank Stanford at this time for firing Troy Taylor so the BYU can get Bear Bachmeier. I mean,
hey.
I'd like to thank Stanford for Taysom Hill as well at this time. All kinds of things for Stanford. I'd also like to not thank Stanford for not helping BYU get into the Pac-12 for years, but that's another topic. Now BYU's in the Big 12, and it's going well. And Sean, this BYU team is really interesting, right? Are they overachieving? Are they on the high end of what they could possibly do with the season? Absolutely. But I love it because I still think Texas Tech is a better team than BYU. And we're going to find out head-to-head coming up in Lubbock at 11 a.m. Central Time next week. But it's a show-me game, a prove-me game. BYU can validate their entire season with that. It doesn't invalidate their season if they lose or even lose big. But certainly if you win, you are clearly the best team in the league. And BYU fans should be rooting for Utah this weekend because you want Cincinnati to have a loss. I'm hoping BYU can somehow go 3-1 in the last 4. I don't see 4-0. I just think it's crazy to think undefeated. BYU's getting pretty banged up here. They're relying on Bear. Like at some point BYU loses. I just hope if it is to Texas Tech that it's a close, respectable loss, and you have to win at Cincinnati now and beat TCU and UCF. If you're 3-1, 11-1, you're in Arlington. That's the goal for BYU right now. It is get to Arlington and play for a conference championship.
I just have to say this before we move off of Bear Bachmeier for a second. I went to the Adam Sandler comedy show
nice.
at the Delta Center on Sunday night. It was amazing. Like, my wife is a huge Adam Sandler fan. I'm a big Sandler fan. The guy lives the dream. He tours around the country with all of his buddies. When he does movies, he just has all of his best friends do the movies with him. Jerem, Adam Sandler shouted out Bear Bachmeier and Tiger Bachmeier for being at the show.
He mentioned them? I didn't know that. I saw.
He mentioned them. He's on stage. He's doing his little thing, you know. And I don't even remember in what context, but he was just like, hey, by the way, Bear and Tiger are here. And like, probably, I don't know, I don't know what the Venn diagram is, but probably 1,000 people in the whole audience knew what he was referencing. But I was like, wait, what? Bear and Tiger Bachmeier are here? And more importantly, Adam Sandler cares that Bear and Tiger Bachmeier are at his show. I was like, wow, this kid is really becoming a star if you're getting a shout-out from the Sandman.
That's amazing. Did he yell it? He's like, Bear Bachmeier's the BYU quarterback.
No, he didn't. All he said, he's just like, by the way, Bear and Tiger are here. And everyone's just like, yay. I was like, wait, that's a big deal, everyone.
Bad Bunny jumped out from his Happy Gilmore 2 stuff and said, do you want some more bread? Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Funny.
I was like, all right. Back to the BYU
Is
Cougars.
that the highlight of the year? I mean, was that greater than anything Bear did this season that Adam Sandler shouted him out? That's pretty good. But no, to your point, Bear is playing spectacular. So listen to this. Deep passing, 15-plus yards against Iowa State. L.J. Martin goes out in the first quarter. It's going to be super obvious what BYU is doing, right? They don't have Sione Moa, it's not looking good for him to play this year, by the way, which is disappointing. If he was in for BYU, that'd really help. But Preston Rex is doing well in the spells that they ask him. But Bear has to run it. He has to throw it. He goes 6 of 7 for 180 yards against Iowa State when they knew BYU wasn't going to run that much. He still beat them, and they knew it was coming, and BYU goes on a 31-3 run and beats Iowa State on the road. This kid goes into the room of requirement in Harry Potter. You can go into this room, you get whatever you need. He goes into the room of requirement, and he pulls out whatever BYU needs to win. It's been awesome.
Oh, I love that you pulled out a Harry Potter reference when talking about Bear Bachmeier, because honestly, that sounds – Bear Bachmeier is a name that could be in J.K. Rowling's universe. It would work.
Probably a Hufflepuff, yeah.
It's alliterative. It has an animal as part of the name. I could see it. Jerem Jordan, by the way, red and blue here on the Sean O'Connell Show. So BYU goes into what sounds like a pretty timely bye week. You talk about how this team is pretty banged up. You never want to see a running back the caliber of L.J. Martin walking around on a sideline without his pads on, and you already, we know that the depth at that position is already compromised. Is the bye week going to be enough to get this team back? Well, not all the way healthy, because nobody is when you're 10 weeks into a college football season, but healthy enough to make a nice stretch run, you think?
Hopefully. I mean, Jack Kelly's pretty banged up. Isaiah Glasser came out of the game as well. Sione Moa not looking good. JoJo Phillips they do expect back, which is good. Jalius Sarah, middle linebacker, came out, so they've got some things to figure out. Bear Bachmeier continues to take a bunch of hits. They have to use him in the run game. It's just what they do. It's not sustainable, I think, for the whole season. So they need LJ back. But LJ's the biggest name there. Wasn't in a sling, didn't break anything. So I'm wondering if it was a separated shoulder. Hopefully it was minor and that he'd come back next week, because that's a big game. And LJ's from West Texas. He's from El Paso. That's the closest kind of game that he could have outside of playing at UTEP, of course. So that'll be a big game for him emotionally as well. And it's one of the biggest games BYU's ever played. Let's be honest. Game day might be there. I know Utah Cincinnati getting that treatment this week. Oh, game day goes to Big 12 sites now. Yeah, they do. They might go 2 weeks in a row, too. So, it's a timely bye week for injuries because BYU is banged up now. They've been relatively very healthy. It kind of caught up to them the last week or two.
It's this time we can start talking about it now. Kalani and company, they'll focus on one game at a time. I think BYU is going to be in Arlington. I like you kind of already laid it out. I think for Utah to have any slim chance, any tiny hope to make it to Arlington, they actually need BYU to be one of the teams there, and beat up Texas Tech, beat up Cincinnati. You got to rely on Houston to somehow lose 2 of 4 games that they're favored in, which probably isn't a winning strategy, that level of hope. But who do BYU fans want to see on the opposite side of that conference championship game? Who would be the ideal matchup?
Bro, I'll be honest. BYU fans are not talking about that at all because there's scar tissue from last year. BYU was 9-0. They stumbled, losing 2 of 3. They lose the tiebreaker. They're out. BYU fans are not talking about Arlington at all. We need to see the Texas Tech game. We need to see the Cincinnati game because BYU fans know, hey, even though this is going great and it's been awesome, it's been amazing, BYU should be credited with everything good because they've done that. They've earned that. They created that. You can't luck your way into 8-0. BYU is doing amazing things. It's not over. I'm not convinced BYU is absolutely going to Arlington quite yet because they're there could be 2 losses there still. You're playing at Texas Tech. You're playing at Cincinnati. You got 2 of the. I would argue Texas Tech, BYU, Cincinnati, Houston. Those are your top 4 teams in the league. BYU has to play 2 of them, and they are one of them. So that's difficult. So who do they want to? I have no idea, dude. I haven't even thought about that at all because BYU has 2 massive games coming up, and oh, by the way, TCU and UCF are not gimmies either.
Yeah, especially TCU is like one of those teams that they can look so bad, but then they can also look like they should be in the conference championship conversation.
Totally.
That is one of the strange things about this conference. So you mentioned some names on the defensive side of the ball that we've been talking about all year for BYU. And Isaiah Glasker and Jack Kelly being a little bit banged up right now. Faletau Satawala. I know that this was a big get for BYU in recruiting. I know that everyone was really excited about him, and the hopes have been high, and he's been kind of a player on this trajectory. Does it feel like in these last couple of games he's now become the guy that they hoped he would be when they recruited him?
A lot of times it takes you a year and a half, 2 years to kind of become your best self, and he's not even there yet. But yes, he is. I mean, he's not Notre Dame Ravens Kyle Hamilton, but I just want to make the comp in terms of a 6'5" safety who's very rangy, ball hawk, physical in the run game. He's the highest rated PFF player for BYU. He's number 1 in tackles by 15. He's second in TFL, second in INTs, first in forced fumbles, and he has a safety. He got cooked on the first play by Iowa State, and then he came back later and made a play that kind of sealed the win for BYU essentially with that pick 6. He is turning into an incredible player, an NFL safety in the future, I think, and he's probably BYU's best player right now on defense, which is incredible.
Parker Kingston and Chase Roberts both had big games here, as you're obviously aware. Who's going to finish the year with better numbers between those 2 guys?
Ooh, good question. I mean, Parker has come on strong here. Chase is pretty consistent over the last kind of 3 years, so I'll probably go with Chase there. But the fact that Parker is in there as well, as these guys both go for 100, and Parker, the first 4 games, he wasn't very good. He had fumbled a punt or 2, and, it just wasn't like passing. It's not really worked out in some of the trick plays. He has really responded the last 4 games, going for 2 rushing touchdowns and 6 receiving touchdowns. He's gone for 100 and 3 of 4. He's really turned it on, which is great. This is a 5'11" kid with track speed and the ability to just make plays. He goes up and gets a 50-50 against Iowa State, which was a huge play in that game. That tandem, to me, I mean, you could argue they're the best tandem of receivers in the Big 12 right now. They've been great. And Bear has his weapons. BYU is not deep in terms of spreading the ball around, Sean. They know exactly who they want to get the ball to, and they give them the ball. It's not like there are 12 players a game. Nope. It's like 6 dudes that are getting the rock right now, but they are making all the plays for BYU. And those 2 specifically down the field are creating all kinds of deep threats. There's not a thing you can just line up against BYU and go, we know exactly what they're going to do. There's a lot of window dressing to Aaron Roderick's offense, and at halftime they had to throw out the game plan to rush the ball down Iowa State's throat because LJ got hurt, so they threw it for over 300 yards. The versatility of BYU's offense is incredible, and they just figure out ways to win in all facets. It's amazing to watch the great team that is BYU. It's not like the 0-1 team where they scored a ton and they gave up a ton or whatever. They have incredible balance that is making them difficult to stop for a lot of teams, and Texas Tech is the best defense to me in the league, and that will be a big challenge for BYU next week.
Is Aaron Roderick getting the credit he deserves? When you talk about BYU's coaching staff right now, most of the comments are about Kalani Sitake, his leadership style, and of course Jay Hill and what Jay Hill has done with that defense, especially these last 2 years. But A-Rod has put together some beautiful game plans, and he's a big part of why this team is 8-0 right now. Is he getting the credit he deserves for what this team is this year?
Probably not. Because let's be honest, BYU's numbers aren't off the charts. They're not Indiana. They're not beating teams by 40. They don't have the style points. And that's part of the reason BYU's 10th and not maybe 6th or 7th at this point. They should be ranked ahead of Georgia Tech, by the way. But everyone else is probably fair. The fact that they put up 41 and throw for 300-plus on an Iowa State defense that had not allowed a 300-yard passer in, I think, 2.5 seasons, just a good player, as you mentioned, goes in and does that is incredible. BYU continues to just figure out ways. And how about the quarterback developer that is Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback whisperer? He gets to BYU and he elevates multiple guys immediately. Zach Wilson, Jaron Hall, Keaton Slovis is still in the NFL. Bear Bachmeier. I mean, an incredible amount of dudes that he has been able to influence in a way that gets them to the league. They're great college quarterbacks. And this guy knows what he's doing. I know BYU fans get frustrated sometimes by certain play calls, but it's worked out. And his creativity is awesome. Talking to Andrew Gentry when he transferred from Michigan, he said, "Hey, we had a play from BYU that we loved because BYU was known for its creativity." And so people are seeing that all over the country.
What are you going to do on the bye week?
I got 2 women's volleyball matches on ESPN Plus. I got men's basketball pregame show coming up next Monday as BYU takes on Villanova in Vegas. So we got all kinds of stuff. But mainly I'll enjoy just watching college football on Saturday. You know, Halloween with the kids and whatnot. My birthday's Thursday, so it's a big week. It's a big week.
Oh, well, happy birthday in a couple of days. We always appreciate your contributions to the show. Before we let you go, Utah is hosting College Game Day. They have a celebrity picker every visit, every place they go. I've made the case that because there's not really any obvious mega celebrities associated with our state, aside from Post Malone, who I was told is unavailable. I don't know if that's true or not, but I was told he's not available.
Nice.
I've made the case that it should be Utah Mammoth. Which Mammoth player are you selecting to be the celebrity picker if they put you in charge?
Bro, Logan Cooley's on fire right now. His natural hat trick, meaning 3 in a row from nobody else, was amazing. You could always go with Clayton Keller, the captain. I mean, any of them. Shout out Spicy Tuna. He's been to a bunch of BYU games. But, yeah, probably Logan Cooley, man. That guy's young, speedy, good-looking, on fire. He's awesome, man.
Yeah, my only actual concern with having the Mammoth is the Mammoth. They've been riding the hot hand. They've been very supportive of BYU football right now, and you can't have them picking on a youth show if they've been too visibly supportive of BYU.
Hey, up to you guys. That's your problem. Okay, that's a you problem.
Jeremy, always appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate you.
That is Jeremy Jordan. Everyone, wish him a happy birthday on Thursday. Red and blue. Great stuff. We're here at All Trade Staffing today, 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake City. We still have tailgate passes and candy to give away. The gift bags have already been claimed, but we do have tailgate passes for Saturday up at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Actually, the tailgate is across the street to the south, right in front of the tennis center. You guys know where it's at. Come see us. Come hang out. But you have to come down to All Trade Staffing to grab the passes. Josie White is the general manager. She's been sitting down with us today. Josie, you were when I was asking Jerem about the celebrity picker. You're a big Utah Mammoth fan. Sounds like maybe you have it looks like maybe you have some opinions on who should be the celebrity picker.
I would say Cooley.
Cooley,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
killing it right now.
Yeah, and he's good looking, just like he said. Yep, all the above.
Okay, yeah, that's why we want Cooley out there. Isn't it wild that 2 years ago we didn't have an NHL team, and right now we have the best NHL team in the league. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, last year they were horrible. This year they're on fire.
It's wild, and that's I think a good segue into how things can really turn around for you if you're out there looking for work. Maybe all you need is to find the right fit. You can help people find the right fit here at All Trades.
Absolutely. Yep, come into All Trades. We do all construction, manufacturing, framers, concrete, laborers, flaggers, whatever you need, we got them.
801-313-1234 is the number. AllTradesTemp.com is the website. 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake, about a block east of R.C. Willey on 3rd West. That's the address here if you want to swing by and grab some tailgate passes. If I'm a business owner, if I'm somebody who's got a big project that I need help with, I mean, look, we all know what we used to do, right? Everyone would just drive by, see who's standing around looking for work. it's a much more organized and much better, much safer way to do it, to come through a staffing company.
Yeah, absolutely. We do all the vetting. We pay the federal, state taxes on them. We pay the workers' comp insurance on them, unemployment claims, stuff like that. If you only got a small project or a couple week project, you don't want to hire somebody to put them on your payroll to go through all the, it does cost money to pay for them. You don't want to do all that. So come to us, we'll do it, and we take on all that responsibility.
Let somebody else handle the paperwork. You just get the workers you need to help you finish your projects. 801-313-1234. All trades staffing at 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake. Chelsea, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
We'll be checking in throughout the rest of the show as well. Daily Dump is next on the Sean O'Connell Show. ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Time for the Daily Dump. We're flushing out some of the stories, the crazy stuff going on in sports. ValleyPlumbing.com. The truck with the duck will come help you out. 385-463-2834. Let them know any plumbing issues you're having. We started the show talking about it. It's been an hour plus since we've really dived into it. Goodness gracious. World Series action last night. I mean, look, you're having these insane individual performances in NBA basketball, including Lauri Markkanen, 50 points last night. You're having playoff hockey being played in the early season. There's a really, really high-level hockey being played right now. Like the amount of effort and the amount of cohesiveness that some of the top teams, including your Utah Mammoth, are showing right now in the early goings of an 82-game season is really a treat to watch. And then last night in championship setting, you had legendary performances from not one, not two, but at least three Dodgers giving us an 18-inning extra time game. Blue Jays fall to the Dodgers 6-5. Shohei Ohtani gets on base 9 times. 9 out of 9 times in this game. 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 5 walks. Shohei Ohtani is an absolute monster, and he's supposed to be the starting pitcher for the Dodgers tonight. Freddie Freeman with another walk-off home run to send it to Game 4. Just an absolute bananas situation in L.A. And Will Klein, the pitcher who you thought was going to give 22, 27 pitches, ended up going 4 scoreless innings for the Dodgers. And maybe the best part of it was, as we had all been watching that game for at least parts of 7 hours, he was not messing around with the pitch clock. He was just getting going.
It's true.
Attacking the batters.
He was Mark Burley out there. If you remember Mark Burley from the 2000s with the White Sox, just like 3 seconds in between pitches. Hey, batter, you ready? All right, we're coming. Like that was incredible. Also, I mean, the other best part of that stretch didn't have anything to do with the play of the game at all. Was the bat boy coming out and getting the mud off his cleats with looking like a horse. What do you call is it horseshoer? What do you call the guys who shoe horses?
A farrier?
A farrier. He looked like a farrier for him with the pick, man. Like it was and then the jokes on social media, I mentioned this earlier in the show. Man, they're having to send the bat boy to the mound. That was also a fun moment.
Dave Roberts told, was it Quint Kucinich? Who was it that was in the dugout?
It was Ken Rosenthal and Tom Verducci, one of the two.
It was Rosenthal. He told Rosenthal, hey, I'm going to probably have to throw a position player if Klein can't keep going.
Just nuts. And even what would have been even crazier, I mean, that would be the craziest thing. And in my opinion, you have no room for that in World Series games. Like regular season, when you go 18 innings, fine. World Series and playoffs, no. Throw a pitcher out there. Don't make this a farce and throw a position player out there. But anyway, I'm glad that didn't happen. But what's almost as crazy as that is Yamamoto was volunteered. He's like, you know what? Don't send Freddie Freeman to the mound. I pitched 2 days ago a complete game. My second straight complete game, by the way, which just never happens in baseball, particularly in the postseason anymore. He's like, you know what? I'll warm up. I'll go out there if it goes to a 19th inning. That would have been nuts if Yamamoto had gone out there.
How do you, if you're a Braves fan, how do you feel about what Freddie Freeman is doing in a Dodgers uniform right now?
It's got to be. I would say there's probably some sweetness to it because that's your guy. That's
your guy. You like him, right?
It's got to be bittersweet.
You love him, but you're just like, oh my gosh, he's like the legendary moments of his career are going to be talked about probably more in the Dodgers realm than in the Braves realm.
It would. I think if I were a Braves fan, which I'm not, but I think that it would feel worse if they hadn't have gotten that World Series in his final season there in 2021. If he hadn't have won a championship with the Braves, that he spent, a decade there or something close to that.
12 years.
12 years there, and had already put together at least a borderline Hall of Fame career with the Braves. It feels like now it's a no doubt Hall of Fame career since what he's added to it with the Dodgers. But if he had spent 12 years and they'd never won a World Series, and then he goes to the Dodgers and maybe wins back-to-back if the Dodgers can win 2 more games here, I feel like it would feel a whole lot worse, even though I think Braves fans would still be super happy for him.
By the way, if you're at Dodger Stadium, if you've settled in at Chavez Ravine for a 7-hour marathon that goes 18 innings long, you know you're going to be hungry, right, James? You're going to be starving.
Absolutely.
For the World Series, they've introduced some new food items. Did you see this at Dodger Stadium?
I missed this, but I think it sounds familiar. I think they do this every year at the different venues. I did not know. I haven't heard what they are, though.
Surf and turf nachos.
All right.
So, some nachos that have lobster chunks and steak chunks on them. They look excellent. I'm looking at a picture right now. A bone marrow taco in the right field plaza. I'm a sucker for bone marrow. It's one of those things on a menu that if they have bone marrow, I'm buying it. I'm getting it.
Hold on. I have not had bone marrow. You got to describe this to me. What?
So it's literally what they do is they take beef shins usually. They take the long bones of cows and they slice them long ways down the middle.
Oh.
Like bone saw them long ways, and then they grill that, or they roast it, or they braise it, or whatever. And the marrow is just like this delicious, rich. It's basically fat, but it's like this buttery kind of meaty deliciousness. And really, the star of the show is the bone marrow, but you find like you got to have the right toast to put it on. You got to have the right, and in this case, a taco to deliver it. A taco that, by the way, happens to be. They give you these little street tacos with tortillas that are, when I say blue, James, I'm not talking like the blue corn chips, you know? I'm talking like Cookie Monster blue.
Wow.
Like, there's going to be evidence of this in your toilet for the next 2 days type of blue.
Hold on, this is a family show, OC. Come on now.
You could say toilet on a family show, all right? And the best, pistachio cream sundae also looks pretty good. The best one, though. And remember, this is like, if you're going to a regular game and you've already spent, you're going to a World Series game, you've already spent a lot of money on this. So you might as well go all the way and get the tomahawk steak platter from the Left Field Plaza Grill. You've seen the tomahawk steaks, right, James?
Yeah.
$150 gets you some fingerling potatoes, chimichurri and ranch, and a full, gigantic tomahawk steak at Dodger Stadium.
Unbelievable.
Yes, please.
The surf and turf nachos, by the way, for me, that sounds like the thing that I want to try the most. I love it. I love a nacho. I love lobster. The steak bites in there too. That sounds really good. It also sounds like it's a little bit more affordable than some of the other things, but also, as you mentioned, who cares about price when you already spent $300 or $500 a seat on these tickets? So whatever.
Like, if you're going to this game, you're choosing to go to one of these World Series games instead of a family vacation this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so you might as well just splurge a little.
Who cares
bit for
about
these surf and turf nachos? I'm trying to look at the price. I got to find out how much, because I know that the tomahawk steak is $150, which that's a lot to be spending, but still, why not treat yourself?
What's another $150 on top of the couple thousand you've already spent?
Listen to this taco: roasted bone marrow, braised pork, pickled red onions and cilantro, blue corn tortillas. And again, not the blue corn tortillas that you're thinking, ladies and gentlemen. Dodger blue, like blue as the day sky. That is a very, very, very blue tortilla. Man, I love ballpark foods when they go crazy with the ballpark foods, James.
Absolutely. Did you? Sorry, I interrupted your thought there.
It's a serious thing. Like, when I was a kid, all right, my children are so spoiled they will never understand. When we went to games when I was a kid, we were allowed to get, maybe if we were lucky on a special occasion, like the little mini upside-down helmet with the ice cream in it.
Yeah.
That was the peak of childhood experience at a Minnesota Twins game. And then later when we moved to Salt Lake at a Buzz game, who eventually became the Bees. My kids don't understand what it's like, because when we go, they're just like, I want that. And it's like, fine. Because I'm a glutton. I'm a pig. And so I'm just like, yeah, I'm getting the Mammoth hockey helmet full of pork nachos. Like, it really is a serious addition to the game time experience for me.
Absolutely. The little helmet ice cream things, by the way, there was next to our Little League field, there was a ice cream place in Santa Clara. And anyway, just they had the helmets, the MLB helmets that you could get a couple scoops of ice cream in. So that was like a post game tradition.
Wait, at a Little League field?
That at a ice cream place like down the street from the Little League field.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and I think if you wore your uniform, they gave you they knocked off the extra price for buying the helmet.
That is the greatest
so
idea
good.
I've ever heard in my life.
It's so good. I don't think it's there anymore. I don't think they have the shop there anymore. Unfortunately,
because they
probably
were
went out of business.
They were giving kids free ice cream.
But it was awesome. So that was my first experience with the I can get a Red Sox helmet. I can eat ice cream out of a Red Sox helmet? Yes, please.
What else is going on in the daily dump?
Did you see, I did not put this in the notes because this is a more recent thing. Did you see Lane Kiffin trolling Brent Venables after Ole Miss beat Oklahoma?
He got mad because Brent Venables, after Ole Miss beat him, he said, we're a better team than them. And Lane Kiffin was like, no, you're not.
So that's a hot take, is what he said. And he said, I wouldn't have thought that people watching would say that they're better than us. Yeah. Good. I mean, Lane Kiffin, good for Lane Kiffin. He makes the sport more interesting, but also he's right about that. When you win a game, you absolutely, if you're the team that wins, whether it's true or not, whether it's true that you have a more talented team or not, you won the game. You absolutely should be saying to the other coach, if you hear about it in your press conference or to their face, hey, we won. We're the better team. Obviously.
It's okay to kind of make yourself and your fan base feel better by being like, hey, I think we're the better team. We didn't execute. Credit to them, whatever. But just know that if you're doing it with Lane Kiffin,
he's going to say something.
He's going to be like, nah, bro.
No, we actually, you see that board out there? It says that we were the better team by 34 to 26. 26 is less than 34. Anyway, I love it.
So Travis Kelce goes into the Chiefs record books. He's tied right now for the most touchdowns in Kansas City Chiefs history following last night's Monday Night Football game, where Patrick Mahomes can throw 2 interceptions in the first quarter and the Chiefs can still win in convincing fashion.
Yeah, it's bad news for the rest of the AFC in particular. Probably the rest of the NFL, but the rest of the AFC at least. Bad news. You know who he tied? Priest Holmes. Yeah, that's a throwback name for some people. Priest Holmes, the first. For me, when I first started getting into NFL football, he was the running back in the league, Priest Holmes. And, it's cool to have his name resurface again because he was the man for a long time in Kansas City. And it feels like it's been because of their run now. He didn't win Super Bowls there. They didn't have much postseason success at that time. It feels like he's become forgotten in there. So it's nice when these kind of records happen and you can honor some of the previous players who were awesome.
Yeah, it's good to refresh your memory on who's he chasing? What kind of records are we looking at here? So Travis Kelce,
83 touchdowns, 83 career touchdowns, one more, and he'll be the franchise leader.
Let me see if I can stump you here. How many of those career touchdowns are receiving touchdowns?
Ooh, let's see. 78.
81.
81. All right. I gave him a little too much credit as a runner.
He has
That's
2
my bad.
rushing touchdowns. Good for you, Travis Kelce. Well done, sir.
What else can that guy have in his life? Jeez. Like, why don't we give you an all-time record for your franchise, too? Good for him.
Travis Kelce's life is going pretty well, it would seem.
I also just rewatched Happy Gilmore 2, and great cameo in that. Reminded of how great his cameo was in that movie. Like, he's probably got some kind of an acting career, whether it's just cameos like that, ahead of him after he's done playing. Like, amazing.
Can I tell you that because you mentioned Happy Gilmore too, we're going to take a break. We're at All Trade Staffing here, 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake City. We're giving away candy, and we're running out of our tailgate passes, but you can still come grab one. AllTradesTemp.com. The Adam Sandler Show, I referenced it earlier. I went to the Adam Sandler Show. Adam Sandler shouted out Bear Bachmeyer, Tiger Bachmeyer. We have to talk about Adam Sandler's stand-up comedy show. We just have to. I know it's not sports talk, but he was wearing a jersey. Okay, we'll make it about sports that way. Sean O'Connell Show on ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Proud part of Utah's ESPN Radio Network. If you have a chance, if you get to see Adam Sandler in concert, in person, doing some stand-up comedy, definitely go do it. I'm a big Sandler fan. I love all of his movies. He brings his guys from the movies to the show. The King of Queens, Kevin James was there. Rob Schneider had a little cameo appearance. David Spade was there. You buy the ticket thinking you're going to see Sandler. You get all the guys. You get the whole gang from the Happy Madison Productions.
You get the cast of Grown Ups. Wow.
Yeah, effectively you get the entire cast of Grown Ups.
Selma Hayek was there too.
And then he just makes ridiculous jokes, like just potty humor jokes for 2 hours, and you're like, this is a 60-year-old man whose job is to go around and play funny songs on his guitar and tell potty jokes. You are living the dream, Adam Sandler. It is wonderful to see. I will say also, there's a really, really touching thing in the concert. If you watch the, whatever it was it the 50-year anniversary of Saturday Night Live was the big event where he busted out the song about Chris Farley? He plays that song at the end of the concert. Spoiler alert. You're going to cry at the Adam Sandler concert. That's like his best friend from 30 years ago passed. And he's still making sure he reminds everyone how great Chris Farley was. It's a very tender, precious thing. And you just you can't help but feel emotional about it. Even if you weren't like a huge Farley fan, it's just a dude up there with a guitar singing about his friend who died 30 years ago. I mean, come on. It's emotional. Anyway.
That's awesome.
Great show. If you have a chance to see, I think they're going to Boise and Vegas, and they're kind of wrapping up the tour, if I'm not mistaken, out here on the western part of the United States. So maybe you'll have a chance to go grab one of those shows before it's done.
Yeah, people have a reason to go to Boise. Wow.
Don't hate on Boise. Boise's a great town.
No, I just
they have delicious Basque food
all
in Boise.
All in good fun. I've actually never had the chance to go to Boise. I'm sure it's a great spot.
Boise's great. Boise is a lovely town.
I definitely go see a Boise State game, or at least go to the Blue Field and see that up close.
It's honestly kind of hard to watch. It's like,
is it in person? It's harder to watch.
It gives you a bit of a headache. It's
really
weird, man. Like the blue turf is not cool. I don't love it.
So it's better on TV.
It's not great on TV in my opinion either.
Yeah.
But whatever. Predator Badlands opens exclusively in movie theaters November 7th. We've got 4 tickets to send you and your friends to see an advanced screening the Tuesday before it comes out, so November 4th, 7 p.m., Megaplex, Jordan Commons, my old stomping grounds. We'll give away a 4-pack of tickets today in about an hour-ish. Josie from All Trades Staffing has been kind enough to have us out here today, and she's the general manager, 801-313-1234. Easy number to remember. That's 801-313-1234. If you have a company and you need some temporary help, All Trades. If you're someone who's between jobs, maybe looking for something that fits your skill set, also come down to All Trades. They will take care of both ends of the employment equation down here, Josie. And you have a special offer for people that might be listening right now.
Absolutely. If we get any customer that calls or comes in and fills out an application and uses our services, I will give 20% on their first invoice if they mention ESPN Radio.
Awesome. So you heard about it on the Sean O'Connell Show. You heard it on ESPN 700, 20% off the invoice when you test it out. And obviously, we want you to take advantage of the discount, but really, this is how you solve those problems, short-term, long-term, in staffing. You come to a place like All Trades, and, you really can take care of a lot of these needs. It's not just, construction type stuff. You do manufacturing. You were telling me that you had someone needed a server. You handled that?
Yep, we did a server. We do a doggy daycare. If one of the workers call out sick at the doggy daycare, they call us and we'll send one of our people over to go watch the dogs.
Cool.
And we've done a server. Let's see, we've done the Salt Lake Community College, the culinary school, when they do their finals for the week. They're cooking, and they just need somebody to just straight do dishes.
Oh, nice.
They'll call us on final weeks for a dishwasher. So we'll send somebody up there, to go do their dishwashing for their after hours or whatever. But, yeah, anything. No project's too big for us.
if anyone you know, maybe you yourself or anyone you know is looking for work or looking for help in getting some work done, All Trades can take care of both of you. 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake. We are out of tailgate passes, but you can still come in, say hello, grab some candy, and, of course, check out what's going on at All Trades. AllTradesTemp.com. And if you call in or you come in and you fill out the packet and you become an All Trades staffing customer, 20% off as long as you mention ESPN 700 radio. All right. Sean O'Connell Show continues. Hour number 3 is next. Jeff Schwartz will join us recapping the weekend and looking forward to yet another big game for Utah against Cincinnati. ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Sean O'Connell Show continues here on a Tuesday. Hour number 3 starts, as it does every week, with my good friend Jeff Schwartz, NFL veteran, college football insider, betting expert. He wears a lot of hats, my guy. He's also a pretty good cook. Jeff, how are
I'm good. Betting analyst that doesn't win any wagers in the NFL anymore. So it's it's good. I like that you put it that way, but yeah, it wasn't a bad week NFL. Okay week college football. Your Utes going over themselves wasn't great for me. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, you took the under in that game?
Yeah, your quarterback wasn't playing.
Well, yeah, that was I failed you in not having any special insights because we were getting told one thing out of one ear and the other ear was saying, no, Dev's good to go, and now it'll be Bird. And
there were many different voices that I heard throughout the week, and they all had the same report, which is like, I don't know what's going to happen. And
which,
so,
by the way, if Kyle Whittingham did listen to Sports Talk Radio and he tuned in just now to hear that he had somehow confused anyone who was trying to predict,
he'd be so proud.
It would be the happiest moment of his season so far. So that's kind of by design, I guess.
But I was in my little gambling group were fairly convinced he wasn't going to play based on evidence we had and data and just information we had, which is part of the whole thing. Then he didn't play, and your quarterback ran for a 63-yard touchdown on the second play of the game, I think. So as soon as that happened, I texted the group. I'm like, done. Bet over immediately done. So it was that quick, but good win for you guys this weekend. I think you broke Colorado. Sean, we don't do obviously Pac-12 radio anymore, but one of the big topics we had for years was Deion Sanders, and you sort of get to know the media members. There's like a list in my head of ones I can't wait until. Just to send him a message like, hey, you remember how much of a butt you were to us about Deion and how, like the tweets you sent us and like, remember you attacked me for that Deion take I had? I have a list. I'm waiting for that. The list is going to be good. I'm not that vindictive, but there were some people that just, a little aggressive with the tweets. And so it's going to be a bad day for them when Deion's eventually out of there, which might be soon.
So they're not going to fire him, obviously, but you say Colorado football, maybe Utah broke Colorado football. Deion looked at that game and he, sat down in the
he's not healthy
press conference and he was just like, man, they kicked my butt, and he's not healthy. He's dealing with real health issues right now. His sons are no longer at the University of Colorado. I mean, I don't think he's a bad football coach. It just is such an involved job, and there's a lot of paths to stay near football, in football for Deion. Any broadcast crew would love to have him right away. He doesn't have to do it this way if he wants to stay in football. He's going to resign, right?
Yeah, I mean, but look, there's a chance it's mutual by the end of the season. I mean, they've regressed a lot from last season, which we expected, right? Because of obviously – they weren't going to be as good without his son being there and without Travis Hunter. You lose a corner and you lose a quarterback of that caliber. But those are just, how many times do we have to hear Deion say after a game like they just whooped our butts? Like it happens a lot. And then he said, well, they just blitzed us. Well, yeah. I mean, do you have an answer? Like, do you have anything to slow them down? Like it's a lack of adjustments, I think. And I'm just curious how much longer with his health he's going to have this job. I mean, look, he had serious cancer. He had blood clots, and then he had blood clots again, right? Like it seems like an untenable job to have. It's a hard enough job when you're healthy to do. And on top of that, dealing with these health issues that are very serious, and the record I think they're going to end this year with. And then you have to worry about retaining, like, their left tackle's one of the best in the country. Someone's gonna offer him a ton of money. Like, can you retain your players? I mean, there's a lot of questions about that program moving forward.
All right, so Colorado's always interesting because of Deion and because of Colorado. Let's focus on Utah again here for a second. 422 yards of rushing in this game with a backup quarterback who I don't even think that's the right way to characterize Bird, because you had him used in kind of like spot starts, starts, but spot situations throughout the year. And in this offense and with his talent and with the game plan that they put forth, he was just as good as we've seen Devin be. And he's also going against a Colorado defense that was terrible against the run. So you have a hard time getting points on the board against BYU. And then against Colorado, you make everything look easy.
Yeah.
How do you do that again against Cincinnati?
Well, their defense is not good, right? The Bearcats' offense has been fantastic. Their defense isn't good, so I think you just have to continue to attack. Right, I think their pass defense is pretty bad. They won a game last weekend that I think no one thought they would win. But I mean, their pass defense. I'll have my numbers right here in front of me. Is 94th in success rate. Like it's not great. The run defense is a little bit better. So I think you just have to continue what you're doing, right, and make sure you. Again, I come back to this idea of sort of giving your quarterback easy passes to start the game, get them comfortable, and you got to be able to take shots, right? They're gonna after you run the ball like that. What is the key, right? They're going to get in their meeting room today and say, or yesterday, guys, we have to stop the run. We have to stop the run. So there'll be opportunities, you would imagine, for the pass game. And is he playing again this weekend? Do we know, or there's no idea yet?
There's no idea yet, and they will do their best to keep it that way all the way up
Yeah.
until kickoff.
Yeah. The line movement in this game would suggest that he is playing. I mean, Utah, I think, opened 7. It's near 10 now. I haven't checked in this afternoon, but it does feel like that movement is the idea that Dan Perry is going to play. But it's about, you just rushed for 400 yards. They're going to try to stop your rushing game. Can you pass the ball? And it's also, too, like Cincinnati's not Colorado. I think they're going to score. I think they're going to score some points, even though we know how hard Utah is. This game's in Utah, correct? I think I saw.
Yes.
Game day's coming, right?
Game day's coming. Night game.
8:15. A night
kickoff.
game. Oh wow! I kind of changed my mind on that. A night game, those are hard to play. I know I've seen that firsthand. Obviously, with my Ducks not playing well at night there. 10 feels like a lot of points, anyways. I don't know if I quite buy that, but this opportunity for Utah to continue, with the injury to Texas Tech's quarterbacks. I think they're both pretty beat up, right? If I'm correct on that, one's out for the year, the other one is sort of week to week. It's a real opportunity here to try to seize, it's be hard because BYU is undefeated, but to really get some momentum into trying to maybe win the conference or get in the conference, title game, especially.
Yeah, I mean, we were looking at that pretty closely yesterday, and it's weird as a Utah fan because you kind of have to just accept that you've lost your tiebreaker to BYU. They're undefeated. Yeah. They're not going to lose 3 out of 4 games, right? So, all right, root for BYU then to beat Texas Tech, and now somebody else to beat Texas Tech. Root for BYU to hand Cincinnati another loss. The biggest problem, in my opinion, is Houston. Houston is
they're playing well.
Good, and they don't have anyone tough left on the schedule. Like TCU's decent, but I don't know. It gets ugly. I don't want to.
Well, the thing about these big conferences without divisions, it just gets Oregon's out of the Big Ten title game. Like lost to Indiana, like that's it. One loss, you're out. You're out. The ACC, Miami is not making the ACC championship game. They might be 11-1 and be better than any of the teams they play would play in the ACC championship game, but because of the schedule and their loss to Louisville, they're probably out. And so it's interesting that we're at this point now where one loss given a certain schedule could mean you're out of the race to win your conference.
Is there any hope for the Big 12 conference, for Utah specifically, obviously, to not participate in a Big 12 championship game and still be a college football playoff team?
Oh, that's a good question. You probably need a couple things to happen, right? So you need Oregon to lose, so they're out. At 10-2, I don't know if Oregon's in at 10-2. Indiana, Ohio State are in, right? The SEC, you're probably looking at A&M is in, Ole Miss is in, Georgia's probably in right now. Bama's in. That's 4, right? You know, we're about the ACC because there's a scenario that 11-1 Miami does not play in the ACC championship game, and that the loser, Georgia Tech's 12-0, by the way, or 11-1 because they lose to Georgia in the last week of the season.
Sure,
they're in the title game and they lose, which means that the loser of that title game is the playoff team, right? Because they win the conference, and then Georgia Tech is in and Miami's in. So, there's a lot of scenarios that can sort of change. And I think you have to root for law. You have to root for Georgia to lose again. You have to root for Ole Miss to lose again. You have to root for all these teams to lose to possibly get in. And I just don't know if the strength of schedule even would allow that to happen.
Yeah, tough to see it. In any case, all you can do is control your own destiny and win the games that you hope to win. Cincinnati being the first one of those tonight.
Yep.
This week, night game at Rice-Eccles Stadium. When we're talking about the offensive line for the University of Utah, and I've asked you about them every single week because that's your area of expertise. Where should we be talking about them? I mean, we came into the year, could this be the best offensive line in the country? I think they're clearly not the best offensive line in the country. Some weeks they play like they could be the best offensive line in the country. Other weeks, not so great. How should we be talking about this unit right now in the season?
That's every offensive line. Like, there's really no team in the country that has an offensive line that is dominating every single game. I mean, even the best, Ohio State, Oregon, even Vanderbilt might be in that category right now. They have moments of where they're just not very good. Bama, right? Like you're like, oh, sometimes good, sometimes not very good. So I think that's par for the course, and it's something that actually we're want to kind of debate in this offseason with the Joe Moore Award guys. Like, why is that? Why are we not seeing the domination we used to from units all season? I think it has to do a lot with the portal, and it has to do with the lack of practice time and whatnot, and just sort of these kids are maybe different's the wrong way to put it, but they're their mindset's a little different now. I think, right? They're getting paid. It's a little different assignment now than what it used to be. So it's kind of, I think Utah, Sean, is no different than any other of the top lines in the country because they're all inconsistent this season.
Interesting. Jeff Schwartz is our guest here on the Sean O'Connell Show, talking Utah football. Lots of news in the grand landscape of college football. The dancing on Brian Kelly's grave is
interesting, right?
It's very interesting. I know he's not like going to win popularity contests anywhere at any time. We like to make fun of him, especially in his weird recruiting videos and things like that. But
Southern
he's
accent,
his fake foghorn leghorn accent, all that stuff. But it seems like he's the most hated man in college football.
Yeah,
because everyone is celebrating his firing.
Yeah, I found that very interesting, right? Like, it's so interesting. Even when we get to like James Frank, like no one really hates him, but like the amount of people that couldn't wait to be like, yeah, I knew it was bad. I knew everything was bad. You're like, well, you didn't say anything. I mean, okay, and people just can't wait. It just seems like the older he's gotten, the more curmudgeonly he's gotten, right? I mean, you have to think a guy that was at Cincinnati that had success probably knows how to talk to players and talk to people, and then maybe just over the years got old and grumpy, Sean, and just sort of stopped being that guy. There was a video from the game on Saturday where they allow a touchdown on special teams, and he goes to the special teams coordinator, like, you're getting fired for that. Something like really not uncalled for, but like you don't see other coaches do that, right, in the middle of a game. And so it's possible he just sort of maybe lost his love for coaching and just became older and a little more curmudgeon. I can't imagine he was like that at Cincinnati.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that the tougher the job gets, the bigger the program gets. Like, people change. We saw Urban Meyer was a certain way at Utah, and then he was different when he was at Florida, and he was different at Ohio State, and obviously he's a little different now that he's in a TV job. So maybe that's a big part of it, but the stories, the anecdotal stories of people who are just like, yeah, I hate that dude.
It's crazy,
as soon as
right?
I stopped playing for him, he never spoke to me again. The Matt LaFleur Robert Saleh one is my favorite, where they got invited to the Christmas party.
I didn't hear this one, I don't think.
Okay.
Maybe I'll have to look it up.
They were on where he was at Central Michigan at one time. Is that right?
Maybe, yeah, it sounds
Michigan.
about right.
And Kelly was the head coach, and those guys were like GAs. They were assistants for him, and he invited them to the coach's Christmas party. So they showed up at the coach's Christmas party thinking that they were going to be participating, and he was like, no, you guys are shoveling the sidewalks and parking the cars.
Oh.
So they shared an apartment at the time, and they did what they were supposed to do. They parked the cars, stood out in the cold, shoveled the sidewalks, and then I guess when they went back to their apartment, according to both of them, they were standing around. It was Robert Saleh was the one who told the story. He was like, "Yeah, that we decided that night that if we ever got to be head coaches, we would never treat people that way."
Yeah.
So that's that's just like, I mean, and when you're the head coach of a program and you're asking your GAs to do stuff that sucks, that's like pretty normal. But the fact that those stories are out now and there's so many of them, I just can't imagine he's having a good time today.
No, there's video of him too, like leaving like the facility in his car. Yeah, this is going to be maybe the most fascinating and landscape changing offseason in college football history, because the amount of jobs that are going to be open and the trickle down effect. Think about the trickle down effect from one Alabama job being open, right? Alabama, Washington, Arizona, and San Jose State all became open because those coaches moved, right? They all moved, like DeBoer, and like imagine now LSU, Florida, maybe Florida State's open. There's a chance that Auburn opens up.
Colorado,
Colorado. There's obviously UCLA's open already. Virginia Tech is open. Arkansas might be open. Like it's just going to be this trickle down effect, and it's going to be so fascinating to watch because you're going to have a lot of coaches that aren't ready to be head coaches. And I understand people say that might be a good thing, but they still need to be sort of ready, right? I think they do. And a lot of coaches aren't ready to be OCs and DCs. However, you will find a diamond in the rough, right? I mean, no one thought Kirk Cinetti would be as good as he is in Indiana, but it's just really interesting that you're just going to have a lot of movement, and you're going to have the amount of players in the portal. Think about the portal, right? As soon as your coach leaves, you hop right in the portal. It's a lot. It's gonna be a lot of hectic happenings in the sport. I wonder if even places like Florida State just say like, you know what, we'd rather just or Wisconsin, like it's not worth getting a bidding war this offseason. We'll keep the coach we have.
Yeah, this year in particular, I mean, we've been talking about this because there's a strong school of thought that Kyle Whittingham is in his last year at the University of Utah. And, there are folks who are like, is the head coach in waiting thing, which you don't like, is that the right thing to do? Well, you don't want to be on this year's open market, probably.
Yeah, you got pretty lucky this year. Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's
like going to be an expensive year, though. Think about all the salaries and buyouts and, like, the coaches' salaries. And it's just a lot, man.
So, Sark is also part of this conversation, the head coach of Texas. Steve Sarkisian, who obviously has in-state ties here. He hasn't had a great season at Texas, and now there's reports out there that his agents are reaching out to NFL teams. Hey, Sark would be interested in an NFL job. I don't understand that being a headline at all. Shouldn't every coach's agent every single year be saying, yes, my guy would be interested in an NFL coaching job because that's the best job you can get in your profession? It feels like
that was planted just to like get a rise out of everybody.
Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
I can't imagine that unless he just hates the job. Maybe he would consider going and coaching Cam Ward or something, but I don't know, man. Once you get that program, like he spent years trying to get that program to where it is, like it's sort of finally winning. Like why would you stop now? I don't get it. I wouldn't, but I'm obviously not. I'm not Sark, so I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. I wouldn't leave.
How can the Kansas City Chiefs survive 2 first-quarter interceptions and just like a terrible start to a game and still end up winning? Why are the Chiefs the Chiefs?
Well, their offense this year is just much better. They've scored, I think, over 28 points now, 4 straight game. Their offense just is, we said, just wait and see till their guys comes back, and they've come back and they've been really, really good, Sean. And then that's without Trey Smith last night and without their left tackle, and Jalen Moore stepped in. And then defensively, they just figure it out. I wish I had a better way to put it, because their defensive line personnel is not great. it's not good. I mean, it's fine. Chris Jones obviously is good, but the rest of the group is fine. And they had a trouble this year rushing the passer, and all of a sudden, they sort of turned it on a little bit. And Spags comes out with some new stuff to run, and they just make it work all together. And there's also a firm belief system they have there that no matter how bad it goes, they're going to be fine. And that's very valuable, right? It's very valuable to have belief that you're going to win no matter what. And a lot of teams just don't have that, and Kansas City has that, and it really sets them apart, where anything bad that happens, they're really not worried about it because they know, and they've shown over the years, that they can overcome anything.
Is this year's NFL going to have any kind of different contender than the ones that we came in? Is there anyone surprising us now that we've got a solid sample size that is going to be part of the playoff and maybe championship conversation that we didn't expect at the beginning of the year?
I mean, Colts, I get, right? Feels like the Colts are that team.
I guess that's a bad way to ask. Are you a believer in the Colts, like for real, for real?
So here's my test. When the season's over, all right, and the Super Bowl trophy, it's in Santa Clara this year, in San Francisco. It's not even San Francisco, in their stadium, is being raised. It's like an hour away. It's so funny. It's being raised, and Roger Goodell is getting on stage. Is Daniel Jones holding up a Lombardi trophy? That's the question. Right? Like, that's the question.
Can't see it.
Right? So that's what it comes down to. In NFL history, there's been some Daniel Joneses, right? Trent Dilfert, right? One. They're just. You can maybe say, well, Nick Foles. I mean, maybe, but the Eagles. That's sort of a once in a lifetime type of deal, but certainly can happen, right? Not many Daniel Joneses in winning championships in the NFL. So they have the Chiefs in a couple of weeks. We'll see what they're really about. They have Pittsburgh this weekend. It could be interesting. Pittsburgh is just really terrible defensively, but it does feel like, again, like there's an opportunity to get more reps next couple of games against some better teams, and we'll really find out what they're made of. But in the end, again, like, do you see Daniel Jones hosting up a Lombardi Trophy to end the season? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
Is the tush push going to make it to next year?
No. It just can't. Look, I am in favor of the tush push, but they can't officiate it at all, Sean. They just can't do. I just don't get the argument why that wasn't a fumble this weekend.
It was a fumble. Your guy Thibodeau got screwed, yeah.
It was a fumble. And the officials just said, well, you blew it dead. You didn't. They just can't officiate it. How can you have this play still that can't be officiated? And so while the Eagles should get credit for designing a play that is so good that it has to be banned, Sean, I think it's not long, man. I can't imagine it makes it through this offseason and ends up being still in our game next year.
All right, we got to take a break. We got another guest coming on in the next segment, Jeff. You're the man. I always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Oh, we're on time today. Look at this. Wow. You get 2 minutes back on my life. Take care, buddy.
Thanks, dude. Jeff Schwartz, NFL and college football insider. Former Oregon Duck, longtime veteran of the NFL. We're here at All Trade Staffing, 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake. Having a little bit of fun. The Halloween candy is here. The tailgate passes have all been handed out. Josie White is the general manager down here. Josie, it's been fun being down here. It's been cool to kind of see people coming in and going out. And, for anyone out there listening who maybe is a business owner, why come to All Trades instead of going somewhere else to try to find help for your big projects, for your short staff situations, whatever?
We take, we're family based, and I take pride in every person that I bring in the door. So I feel like I take them personally for each customer that I bring in. They're my customer, so they're mine. So we go above and beyond to make the customers happy. I work for them, basically, is what it comes down to. So I feel like we're really big on we're a family. So
Well,
come join the family.
I tell you what, it makes a big difference when someone actually does care and puts the care factor in, right? If you're out there and you've got a construction company, you've got a restaurant, you've got a catering situation where you need some extra help, All Trades can help you out, get you staffed up for a big event temporarily, can help you. I mean, you'll help people long term make sure that their staff's filled out, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have quite a few temp to hire jobs that they'll go and we do have, 800 hour is in our contract. They work 800 hours. Then you can take them onto their payroll. I usually tell people that's a really good thing when they call in and they're like, oh, the first day, this guy's great. I love this guy. And I'm like, just give it a little bit of time because we all shine on our first week of work, right? We all shine. So just give it a little bit of time and then, you kind of get to know their behaviors and, do they really work together with everybody in the company and, how do they handle stressful situations or, anything like that. And but yeah, I typically lose probably about 25 people a year to full-time employment that have went on to full-time customers.
That's great for the company. That's obviously great for the individual who comes in looking for temporary work, and then they find full-time employment out of it. All Trades really building the bridges to get everyone the jobs and the help that they need. 182 West Haven in South Salt Lake, 801-313-1234, alltradestemp.com if you want to catch them online. And a special offer right now for anyone who mentions ESPN 700. You heard about it. You're going to give 20% off the first invoice. That's right?
20% off the first invoice. Yep.
Awesome. Come down and see us. Come down and talk to Josie. Sean O'Connell Show continues with Avery Lewis McDougall, Edmonton Oilers insider for the Hockey News. Mammoth at Oilers tonight. That's a 7:30 puck drop. We'll talk about that matchup and the red-hot Utah Mammoth next on ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Welcome back to the Sean O'Connell Show on ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Time to check in on the red-hot Utah Mammoth. They're on the road at Edmonton tonight. 7:30 puck drop. Avery Lewis-McDougall, Edmonton Oilers insider, joins us now to talk about this matchup. Avery, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, Sean. How you doing, buddy? How are things down in Utah?
Man, we're all riding the wave right now. As you know, this team, as they say in hockey, is a wagon at the moment. 7-game win streak. Does this Edmonton Oilers squad sitting at 500 on the year, are they the type, the veteran squad with a lot of deep playoff experience, Stanley Cup contenders, we think, this year again? Do they have what it takes to cool off the red-hot Mammoth?
I mean, one would think so. This team still has Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Evan Bouchard. But right now, I mean, every October for Edmonton, they always start slow historically. For whatever reason, that first month of the season, they just don't have the juice that first month of the season. But they're a team that can find a way to bounce back. And a big thing for the Mammoth, if they can't slow down Edmonton's power play and McDavid and Draisaitl, it might be a long night, Sean.
And that is one of the things that they've really worked on improving this year. The special teams for the Utah Mammoth were not ideal last year. They didn't, but it feels like, again, like, you know, there's the litmus test of having wins over last year's playoff squads. There's a difference between being a playoff team and being a team that's not only in the playoffs but in the Stanley Cup final and has 2 of the 10 best players in the world on their roster. So, I mean, it feels like for the Mammoth this is a tougher test even than, you know, St. Louis, Winnipeg, some of these other good teams that they have beat so far. For a young squad like the Mammoth, I'm asking you to put on, I guess, a different hat than you're probably used to. For a young squad like the Mammoth, what can they get in? What can they get out of this team? What can they learn from being on the same ice as Connor McDavid, as Leon Draisaitl, as a team that has this level of experience and professionalism?
It'll be a good measuring bar to see where they're truly at, because, you know, right now this team has won 7 games in a row. But when you're playing against the Oilers, you'll truly see where you stand among the elite in the NHL. And of course, I got to give credit to this team right now in Utah. What you guys have: Nick Schmaltz, 16 points. Clayton Keller, Logan Cooley. Like, that's a fun young team. But it's gonna be a good test to see how good the Mammoth truly are in Edmonton tonight, Sean.
What do you think of, you know, the outsider perspective? What do you think of somebody like Schmaltz, who's, you know, he's not the first name you circle on the roster as someone that can kill you, but he's having a great season so far. Cooley, Gunther, Keller, those are guys that I think are getting a little bit more attention from the average hockey fan. So tell me, like, give me the Edmonton scouting report on this roster, and especially on those guys that are, you know, filling up the goal.
I think for me, from my Edmonton point of view, the biggest guy you got to watch out for, of course, you mentioned right there, Nick Schmaltz, but also too, guys like Dylan Gunther and JJ Peterka, guys who you might not think about as guys who will be the gangbusters, but could have a chance to get a few past Stu Skinner tonight. So, well, that's a fun young team. That is a team in which, you know, you're not Central Division. You know, if you're the Dallas, the Colorado, you got to watch out for them. But yeah, guys like Peterka, even Mikhail Sergachev, got to watch out for as well too. So it's a team that's a fun mix of youth, but also depth as well too, in my mind, Sean.
So this Edmonton squad has, as we've already said a couple of times, they've got 2 of the best individual players in the NHL. What is the supporting cast looking like right now from a production and health standpoint? Because obviously the scouting report is not only, well, do what you can to slow down Draisaitl, their top goal scorer. Do what you can against somebody like Connor McDavid. What about the rest of this Edmonton squad? Who should Coach Tourney and the Mammoth be worried about who's not maybe as famous?
I think, you know, he's not as famous, but he's been there for quite some time. It's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He's been there now for 15 seasons, has 11 points on the year, 5 goals, 6 assists, and he's not Connor or Leon, but he is someone you have to keep an eye on. And also, too, guys like Andrew Mangiapane. Mangiapane has 3 goals in the season. He came over from Washington, and he's someone who's got a shot that can deceive you. He's a smaller guy, but that's a shot you have to watch out for in the Edmonton lineup. Of course, there's no Zach Hyman until next month. He's still out with his broken wrist. But there are other guys who are trying to find a way in this roster to make up for the loss of Zach Hyman when it comes to secondary scoring.
How do you handicap the West in the NHL right now? I mean, obviously we're very, very early. The Mammoth have been a pleasant surprise for us here in Salt Lake City. Obviously, we think they're a playoff squad this year. I don't expect that they'll be the top of the points at the top of the division, continuously throughout the whole year. We do expect, I think most people do, that Edmonton will be, in a more comfortable position as the season progresses. How are you looking at the West as a whole right now?
The West right now, it's gonna be a dogfight. It's going to be a battle between, of course, not just Utah, but you still have Colorado, Winnipeg. Winnipeg is called Hellbuck still. Dallas is back. Dallas wants revenge for losing the conference final 2 years in a row. So I do think there is a path for Utah to be a playoff team, but the big thing for them is being consistent. There are too many good teams in that conference, especially in the Central, to fall off for too long. There is a path to make the playoffs, but it's not going to be easy when you're playing against teams like Colorado, Winnipeg, Edmonton. Edmonton, and also to Seattle and LA. So it's going to be a tight battle as the year goes on, Sean, for the Mammoth.
We've been talking about the young guys that are developing in this Utah Mammoth pipeline, and obviously, you've got the ones that made the NHL roster this year. You got Daniil Boot, who they sent back down. You've got Iginla that's still waiting in the wings. For Edmonton, do they have the right pipeline of young talent to support, I guess, long-term success when guys like Connor McDavid start to age a little bit more and maybe the production gets to be harder to come by? Is the farm system for Edmonton right now in a good place?
I would say right now the farm is in flux. Right now there are a few guys on this roster right now who, of course, when Connor ages out, there's no replacing Connor, but there are a few guys right now in this roster who could eventually fill in kind of that role. Guys like Isaac Howard, who we got from Tampa Bay, who is a great player, scored 26 goals last year at Michigan State, great young college talent. He is someone who I think could eventually fill in that spot of be a hopefully number one guy on this team eventually when things are all said and done for Connor McDavid. Also, too, Matt Savoie is someone who, as Edmonton kid, a project people have wanted to pop off for a long time. Matt Savoie is someone who also I think can step in eventually. And also, too, another guy who Oilers fans want to see thrive is Noah Philp, another Edmonton boy, played university hockey at the U of Alberta, has 2 goals so far this year. So those 3 guys, I think, are going to be the names to watch out for when things start to slow down for Connor as the years go on. In my mind, Sean.
Who's going to be in the crease? Who's going to be in goal for Edmonton tonight?
Tonight it will be Stuart Skinner tonight for the Oilers.
Is he living up to expectation in the early part of this season?
Stuart Skinner, Stu is a goalie, and we've known this for a long time. Edmonton, Stu has been very up and down. Like one game he'll give you a Vezina-winning goaltending, and next game he's prone to giving up 3 goals on 13 shots. And it's tough because Stuart, he has to find that middle ground where it can't always be, highs of highs, lows of lows. It's got to be the fine middle ground because Edmonton just needs okay goaltending, in my mind, to win a Stanley Cup. But if Stuart Skinner can bounce back, they should be in a good spot for Edmonton. It's just a matter of Stuart trying to be a more consistent goaltender as the season goes on. Of course, it's October, but you want your goalie to be sharp no matter what month of the year it's in.
Avery, I appreciate you giving us some time today. Hopefully, when we get into February, March, we're still talking about a Mammoth team and an Oilers team that are both firmly in the playoff hunt. So we'll check back in later in the season.
No, of course. Sounds good, Sean.
Avery Lewis McDougall at Avery, that's AVRY on Twitter. Edmonton Oilers insider over at the Hockey News. What order of business do we... 877-353-0700. That's the number for the trivia answer when I ask you a trivia question in our next segment to give away our Predators Badlands 4-pack to the sneak preview, but also the Baskin-Robbins cake giveaway. This is our final week where we can give you a Baskin-Robbins ice cream cake. The closest prediction to accurate on pick a winner, pick a score for Utah versus Cincinnati will get an ice cream cake from Baskin-Robbins. 877-353-0700. And shout out to 4611 who alerted us Did you guys see the new Utah video just dropped showing the uniforms for the Cincinnati game? Super cool Halloween-themed blackout game. Yes, the blackout game at Rice Eccles on Saturday night. I mean, the vibes will be at an all-time high with game day being there all day. Can the team live up to it? That's the question with these big game scenarios. Also, I have on decent authority, we might see a different helmet than the one you see in the video when they actually run out onto Rice Eccles Field. I'm not sure 100%, but it might be a different helmet on Saturday night. One last segment next. We'll give away some stuff on the Sean O'Connell Show, ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. One last segment here at All Trade Staffing, 182 West Haven Avenue in South Salt Lake. We had a great time today. 801-313-1234. If you're looking for help on a big project, if you own a company and you need help staffing, they can take care of you. Before we chat with Josie White, the general manager down here one more time, we have Megaplex Jordan Commons 4-pack for a sneak preview to Predator Badlands, an advanced screening November 4th at Jordan Commons. And we have a BGR gift card. Burgers Grilled Right in Sugar House hooked us up with the hot lunch today. When I say hooked us up with the hot lunch today, I mean James Peterson back in the studio stole my hot lunch today, and I'm really upset about it, but that's okay.
It was the tuna burger, so good. Like I said, not necessarily something if I saw it on the menu I would have ordered, but now that I've tried it, amazing. And it sounds like something you would have ordered though, OC. So I'm 100%. Sorry you couldn't enjoy it as much as I could.
That's not an authentic sorry, James. I can tell you're not actually sorry about it. It's okay.
Hey,
it's all right. It's totally fine.
I got to at least kind of feign some sympathy for you there, even if especially if it's not true. Like I get it.
It's great. It's
appearances fine. And all right.
All right. We started the show today talking about the insane World Series game last night. We talked about Lauri Markkanen's huge performance, scoring 51 points in an overtime win for the Utah Jazz. And Monday Night Football was also on last night. Here's your trivia question, 877-353-0700. Travis Kelce is now tied with Priest Holmes for the most touchdowns in Kansas City Chiefs history. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, it's Travis Kelce. He's got 83 touchdowns. How many of those are not receiving touchdowns? How many of his career touchdowns are rushing touchdowns? We talked about this earlier on the show. 877-353-0700. How many of those touchdowns does he not get to thank Patrick Mahomes for? Those are the really important ones.
I mean, maybe Patrick handed it off to him, so.
That's not how it works. Can you imagine if quarterbacks got credit for touchdowns that they handed the ball off?
Like it's kind of a
touchdowns.
Kind of a throw,
It's like in hockey, you get, even if you're the pass before the pass, you get the assist.
Yeah.
If they did that in
rushing
football,
touchdowns.
With rushing touchdowns.
Everything that's not a direct snap is like also a quarter. It's like a quarterback assist.
It's a quarterback assist. Yes.
Yeah. We should do that actually.
They get credit for everything except for field goals and direct snap touchdowns.
And the centers are like, why don't we ever get an assist? We give it to the quarterback.
Well, if it was in hockey, right? If it was in hockey and it was a regular rushing touchdown, it would just be the center gets the assist for snapping it to the quarterback. The quarterback gets the assist for handing it off. The running back gets the touchdown.
Yeah. I know Jeff Schwartz, who we just had on Tuesdays at 1 here on the Sean O'Connell Show. I know he wasn't a center, OC, but I feel like next week we gotta float that idea to him. How about center assists in football?
Yeah. You know what? That's the career points leader would be like Jesse Sapolu or something like that.
Yeah.
Just snapping the ball all the time. Jeff Saturday is the NFL career points leader.
The Colts points leader, Colts assist leader. I also want to clarify. So I kind of got the Freddie Freeman only person hit multiple walk-off homers in World Series history thing wrong. It's not. The extra innings was not the qualifier. Goose Goslin did have multiple walk-off hits in the World Series in 34 and 35. Okay. Not both of them were homers, though. So Freddie is the first multiple walk-off home runs in World Series history. So anyway, I found that out because Jordan Bianucci, who's on the morning show on the Fan, he's like huge baseball guy. Trust him implicitly. Shouldn't have trusted him completely on this because he kind of misled me on that. He's like, well, Goose Goslin also had walk-off homers. Walk-off hits, not homers.
Shout out to Goose for having a name like Goose.
Seriously. And shout out to Jordan, even though I just kind of threw him under the bus there.
Also, 2409, we asked the question, is it hard as a Braves fan to watch what's going on with Freddie Freeman and his legendary Dodgers performances now? And he says, yes, it's absolutely painful to watch. So before we wrap things up and send it to Spence Checketts and The Drive one more time with Josie White, the general manager here at All Trades Staffing, alltradestemp.com, 801-313-1234. I guess we've already had one person take advantage of the discount, 20% off if you call, mention ESPN 700, sign up and become a customer of All Trades Staffing. You're hooking people up.
Yeah, yep. We just had one customer send back a packet, and I guess he's taking 2 people tomorrow.
Awesome.
So,
well, let's talk about that on the turnaround time, right? Because you might think, right, if I'm not familiar with temp staffing, I might think like, oh my gosh, like I got to go through this long process of getting myself in their system and getting it approved and getting the right kind of people sent out. I don't have a week to solve this problem, so I'm just going to call my brother-in-law and make him do it. You can get people help quick.
correct, yeah. Again, it goes off of each individual person too, right? So I send you a packet. If you fill the packet out completely and it's not back and forth, fill it out completely. Typically, yes, I can get you people the next day.
Wow.
Again, if you don't fill the packet out and I have to be like, hey, come on, I need some references, or fill out your address, sometimes it's they just put name and address and
Sure.
they send it, and it's like, okay, there is a few things you got to sign,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So, but if I need work right now, I'm between jobs or I'm looking for something that's a better fit for me, and I fill out my packet properly, if I come in and I talk to you and I do my part, how soon can you put me to work?
Yeah, I could put you to work within 24 hours.
Awesome.
So if you come in today, fill out a paperwork, tomorrow, I could get you out tomorrow.
So look, whether you need help or you're looking to be the help,
Yep.
All Trade Staffing can help you out. And right now, if you're looking for help and you become a new customer at All Trades, mention ESPN 700. They're going to give you 20% off on your first invoice. That's alltradestemp.com, 801-313-1234. Josie, we have you to thank for the candy. We ran out of tailgate passes, so she hooked us up and made sure we had something to give out. And it was me that ate all the Almond Joys, so I'm sorry about
That's
that.
okay. That's okay.
Thanks for having us out here.
No, thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. We'll hope to see you guys again.
Thanks to everyone who stopped by today at All Trade Staffing. Thanks to everyone who listened on the show. Stay tuned for The Drive with Spence Checketts on Utah's #1 sports talk, ESPN 700 and 92.1 FM.